Welcome to Fort Wayne, Indiana, more specifically the Hilliard Gate Sports Center on the campus of Purdue University, Fort Wayne, where tonight on Arnie Ball Court, a very important men's volleyball match as far as the MIVA is concerned. The 14th ranked Lewis Flyers are taking on the 20th ranked Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons. Final weekend of the regular season in the MIVA, and if you've not watched college volleyball on the men's side before, MIVA stands for Midwestern Intercollegiate Volleyball Association. And both teams trying to claim the fourth spot in the 9-teams league to ensure a home match in the opening round of the MIVA postseason tournament next weekend. And with that, we say hello to one and all, and welcome to this edition of Purdue Fort Wayne Men's Volleyball on YouTube. I'm Mike Moss, joined by Purdue Fort Wayne head women's volleyball coach Steve Florio. And Steve, it's hard to believe it's the last weekend of the regular season, but it's nice to know that with just 2 matches remaining, so much is on the table for both teams that are playing here tonight.
Yeah, still a lot of parity in the standings to be had, and the Mastodons hold a lot of their fate in their hands tonight and Saturday night, so we'll see what they can do.
Lewis comes into this match with a league record of 8-6, an overall mark of 15-12, and Purdue Fort Wayne is 6-8 and 12-11 respectively. We'll explain more about the potential home court advantage as this match proceeds. Let's quickly bring you the starting lineups for first the Lewis Flyers out of Romeoville, Illinois. In the middle, Peter Vomichel, a 6'6 sophomore from Buffalo Grove High School in Arlington Heights, Illinois. The center is Tyler Morgan, a 6'7 junior from Hartford High School in Dike, Iowa. One of the two liberos is Nico Paula, a 6'1 sophomore from Tampa, Florida. The opposite is Siva Drosum, a 6'6 sophomore from Vikersund, Norway. On the outside, the go-to guy for Lewis, Max Rocky, a 6'8 junior from Johnston, Iowa. Also in the middle, Sean Baggs, a 6'8 freshman from Gilbert, Arizona. The other libero is Ryan Cowens, a 6-foot redshirt sophomore out of Dublin, California. And on the outside, Daniel Haber, a 6'6 sophomore from Remensburg, New York. For Purdue Fort Wayne, the center is Andre Polomac, a 6'6 freshman from Serbia. In the middle, Bryce Walker, a 6'8 senior from Bartlett, Illinois. The libero was Wilmer Hernandez, a 6'3 fifth-year senior from Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. On the outside, John Dietrich, a 6'8 graduate senior out of Orlando, Florida. Also on the opposite is Mark Frazier, a 6'6 junior from Las Vegas, Nevada. Opposite, Carlos Mercado, a 6'5 fifth-year senior from Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. Lewis serves to start the match, going from left to right. And off the touch, Purdue Fort Wayne picks up the opening point of this match.
Really nice 4-4 shot by Mercado to start things off for the Dons.
And Carlos will serve first for Purdue Fort Wayne tonight. Mastodons wearing the white jerseys with black arm sleeves in some cases. Gold numbers, gold and black trim. Long serve for Mercado. And Rocky's first swing of the night is successful. Max Rocky averaging over 3.6 kills per set.
Good height, good extension on that swing, great hand contact. Really nice set off the good pass to get a one-on-one block.
Ziba Drosum, again a 6'6 sophomore from Norway to serve now for the Flyers. Left-handed serve. And Bryce Walker rejected at the net, 2-1 Flyers. These two teams played at Lewis not so long ago. Flyers won the match in 4 sets.
Serve receive real deep, expecting a heavy topspin serve.
And there is a deep, too deep serve by Drosum, a service error. Will tie the score at 2 apiece. Bryce Walker, we mentioned he's a 6'8 senior from Bartlett, Illinois. Has 17 service aces this year, led the team in service aces last year. And he gets a service ace right off the bat to give Purdue Fort Wayne a 3-2 lead.
We talk about it all the time. Walker, an excellent middle, but he also brings one of the best serves on the team and in the conference, in my opinion. That's always a bonus.
Career service ace number 101. One away from tying Andy Selwyn and Colton Stones for 10th on the all-time Mastodon list of service aces. Oh, kick save by Drossum. Frazier. Flyers cover it, however. Free ball opportunity, and now what do we got?
They're going to call that free ball that was sent over by Lewis out of bounds. It went over the top of the antenna.
4-2, Mastodons on top. It's rally point scoring, a point scored on every serve. Played a 25 win by 2 in sets 1, 2, 3, and 4. If we have to go to a deciding 5th set, you play it to 15, still have to win it by 2. Deep serve by Walker. Rocky down the line.
Down the line on a triple block. Showing why he's the kill leader for Lewis.
Second kill of this match. And now he will serve.
Tyler Morgan, the setter for Lewis, putting the ball in perfect position.
And he goes long. Second service error by Lewis. Gives the Mastodons a 5-3 lead here in the opening set. And we'll get a look at the freshman setter, Andre Polomat, 6'6". Deep serve. Big swing by Daniel Haber.
Well, Haber every bit as tall as every bit as tall as Rocky and hitting every bit as hard. So the Dons are going to have to find an answer early on this outside attack.
Haber's second most kills on the team, with Lewis with 223 starting the match tonight. And Sean Baggs just came through with a service ace to tie the set at 5 apiece.
Perfectly placed serve. Dietrich pushed to the left. Mercado squeezing him over, and that's a ball that Mercado really needs to step in and pass.
Free ball chance for the Flyers. Josso at the net. And off the touch.
Still in play. Still in play.
Wow. Oh, but I missed it. Yeah, Frazier did get it through. Our officials tonight, Rod Rodriguez is the upper official, and Luis Ventura, the down official, and right now the captain for Lewis talking to Rod Rodriguez about that play, Steve.
Yeah,
there are parts of the ceiling that are still in play in this building.
Yeah, anything over the surface of play on the ceiling or hanging from the ceiling, as long as it's over the playable surface, it is in play. So that ball looked like it was definitely going deep and out of bounds into the stands, but hit the curtain hanging overhead. It's rolled up, but hit the bottom part of that curtain and bounced it back into play. And if the officials say that curtain is over the field of play, then over the surface of play, then it is in play, no matter how much the ball ricochets.
Well, head coach Dan Friend, who's in his 20th year at Lewis, talking to his captain, Tyler Morgan, basically explaining that Dan has seen this many, many times over his 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's coached here a lot, so he should know this curtain is always in play. And then the officials at the start of every match will tell the captains what's in play, what's out of play. So the captain should be aware, hey, the curtains are in play.
So Mark Frazier will serve for Purdue Fort Wayne. Junior out of Centennial High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. Nice block, good hustle by Rocky to keep the play alive. And off the touch. What a play by Frazier. But Morgan able to roof it home from the right side of the net for a Lewis point. And the first set tied at 6 apiece.
Well, I like the intensity that the Dons are bringing to the court. They know this is a must-win match, and really, they need to win it. They need to win it in 3 to have a tiebreak over Lewis.
And off the touch, Haber comes through with another kill to make it 7-6 Lewis. Deep breath, short toss, but the serve. And off the touch, John Dietrich heard from for the first time tonight, the 6'8", fifth-year senior out of Orlando, Florida. Steve, I don't know if you saw his older brother Richie, who played here for 4 years.
Yeah, he's here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shortest haircut I've ever seen him have.
That's right.
Casey Lyons, the freshman from Hawaii, serving at 7-all. Lewis off the touch picks up the point to go up 8-7.
Yeah, Richie said hi to me before the match, and he caught me off guard. I almost didn't recognize him at first.
I didn't at first. Then he said he thought that he and I were a carbon copy. Oh, he's a lot taller than me. Dietrich, partially blocked.
Wow.
Rocky.
What a set
Wow.
by Tyler Morgan. It was a really, weirdly, the ball came off the blocker's head. It had a ton of spin on it. So the first touch was a difficult one because of how much it was spinning. Tight pass.
Morgan averaging just under 10 assists per set for Lewis this year. Tip shot by Mercado, and that's blocked. 3-meter line swing, and off the touch, Mercado picks up the kill.
Really fantastic out-of-system play by Mercado there. Set is far behind him. You watch him scoot back a couple steps, gather his feet, and take a high-hand swing, and he gets rewarded with a tool kill out of bounds. Really cool, calm, and collected under pressure there.
John Dietrich with the serve. That'll be a service ace. And for Dietrich, that is service ace number 25 on the season.
The Dons need a big night out of Dietrich tonight. He's going to have to supply offense, but he's also tasked with blocking the outside attack of Lewis where they get most of their kills.
Service error, however, negates the ace, and it gives Lewis a 10-9 lead. Opening set of our best-of-5 match tonight. Peter Vahmocho to serve from the left corner. Little float serve. Walker denied by Vahmocho. What a block! Walker might have gotten help from Polomats. But the block successful, and we're tied at 10.
Don's taking advantage of an out-of-system situation. Rocky had to hit the ball from behind him.
Carlos Mercado, who's seen a lot of playing time recently with the serve. Rocky. Off the arm of Frazier into the crowd.
Tough angle there, tough ball. You have Wilmer Hernandez stacked in behind Frazier. And really, Frazier's got a right to go for that ball, but that angle got on him real quick.
Lewis up 11-10. Steve Woodrowsome to serve. Polowatz goes to the right for Dietrich. Down the line. Dietrich ties the set at 11 apiece.
All right, well, Lewis players are telling coach that ball was out. So we're going to have our first challenge of the match.
And to let you know how challenges work here in the MIVA this year, each team starts the match with 3 challenges. If you win the challenge, you keep it. If you lose it, you lose it. This occurs between sets 1, 2, 3, and 4. If the match goes to a 5th set, each team given 1 additional challenge. So we will see what happens.
And with the broadcast tonight, we don't have access to the replay. But I will tell you as a coach, if your players, and it was about 3 of them, turned around right away, In fact, they were cheering, thinking, oh, yeah, that's our point. And they turned back and noticed the official giving the point to the Mastodons, and immediately they look to their coach and say, Coach, that was out. And so as a coach, when your players feel that confident about the call, you got to honor that. You have enough challenges, and they're there. They're right there in the play. Most of the times they're right. Not always, but you trust your players.
That's rule number one.
That's that, absolutely. And really, honestly, I thought the ball from here was in, but we have a really bad angle. It's an excellent swing by Dietrich, perfect set by Polomatz. But I did see the players immediately turn and cheer, so let's see.
Challenge denied. Point goes and stays with Purdue Fort Wayne.
And the signal that the official gave was that it was very clearly in from his standpoint, because he did not give the motion where he reaches across to his opposite shoulder and then kind of waves it off saying inconclusive. And he gave a direct.
Now he's trying to, he being Luis Ventura, trying to explain the call to Dan Friend. So we are tied at 11, and Bryce Walker will serve once again from right to left.
Picked up a few points off of Walker's serve last time around.
Goes too far and too strong this time, however. And I can hear the Lewis players saying right now, ball doesn't lie.
Yeah. And, you know, Coach Dan Friend just is kind of still talking at the down official. He's not been happy with a couple decisions already tonight.
Max Rocky with the serve. Received by Dietrich. Gets it back, right side. Dug out by Paula. Good hustle by Casey. Rocky with the dig in the backcourt. And off the touch, Sean Baggs gives Lewis a 13-11 lead.
Morgan wisely chooses the middle attack, knowing that Casey had chased the ball down, coming off the ground, hustling back to get into play, but there was no middle blocker there. Good awareness by Tyler Morgan.
Rocky again with the serve. Casey Lyons off the touch. And it's 13-12.
That'll be the first middle kill for the Dons. If they're going to lean on Frazier and Dietrich, they're going to have to open them up by getting kills out of the middle. So 12 points in for the Dons, one middle kill.
Polomatz throws it up in the air. Good hustle. Tip shot. Mercado with the dig. Frazier. Oh, nice dig by Rocky. Off the touch. Point Lewis.
Really nice attempt by Frazier to wipe that off the block, but well defended by Lewis. And Morgan continues to throw up really hittable balls for his team.
Sean Baggs, again, a 6'8" freshman out of Arizona to serve for Lewis. Left side, Dietrich. Denied in the backcourt by Rocky. Likewise, taking the backcourt by Purdue Fort Wayne. Dietrich hammering it off, two different flyers. Brings Purdue Fort Wayne to within one. They now trail this at 14-13.
Wilmer Hernandez sitting in that seam perfectly. Picks up a great dig. Excellent conversion to Dietrich.
Spoke with Wilbur's dad before the match. He's happy to be back watching his son play, and it's an ace for Mark Frazier. And we're tied at 14.
Well, this is going to come down, I think. It's looking like it's going to come down to, like most matches, serving and passing. But both teams, I think, have fairly equal firepower, at least through this first half of this set.
That was ace number 26 for Frazier. Tops on the team. Can Hernandez get to it? He does! Good hustle by Hernandez. It was Rocky. with the point, and that'll bring us to a timeout. So a break in the action here in set number 1 of our best of 5 match featuring 14th ranked Lewis and 20th ranked Purdue Fort Wayne. Flyers on top by a score of 15-14. And with this match being broadcast on YouTube tonight, sans commercials for the most part, gives us a chance to take a look at the standings in the MIVA coming into play tonight. And there are other matches being played. Ball State on top. The Cardinals with a league record of 11-3, an overall mark of 18-9. Loyola of Chicago in second at 11-4 and 17-9 respectively. Ohio State playing their final conference match of the season tonight against McKendree. Buckeyes are 10-5, 17-8. At one time earlier in the year, they were ranked number 1 in the country. Then comes the McKendree Bearcats, 8-6, 14-9 overall. Lewis, 8-6, 15-12. Lindenwood playing very good volleyball, 7-7 and 11-11. Then come the Mastodons at 6-8, 12-11. Queens, the newest team in the MIVA, at 2-12 and 9-17. And the Quincy Hawks in their final year in the MIVA, 1-13 in conference play, 5-17 overall. Timeout about completed.
And at the 15-14 mark, both teams hitting good percentage, 391 for Lewis and 375 for the Dons.
Frazier down the middle, ties the set at 15 apiece.
Real fast tempo Bick. First time Lewis has seen that tonight.
Casey Lyons, again a freshman out of Hawaii with the serve. Hit the antenna. The swing by Haber. So Mastodons on top, 16-15. And that was a decisive call by the line judge. Tidbit about the line judge in a moment. Another point for Purdue Fort Wayne. The two line judges tonight, John Rodewald, who has been a longtime official, both as a line judge as a referee. Oh, big swing from Grossom. Seemed to hang his left arm back to the last moment and then sprung it forward to make it 17-16.
Again, a few points off of Casey Lyons' serve, so the middle hitters for the Mastodons putting points on the board when they back there serving. That could be the difference.
Haber with the serve. Dietrich off the touch, glanced it off of Morgan to give Purdue Fort Wayne a 2-point lead at 18-16. And to finish off my thought, if I can find my paperwork, the other line judge tonight, just long with the serve by Dietrich. That's a service error to make it 18-17.
And again, such a close game. Both teams hitting at a high percentage.
For just a second, Steve.
Looking to see who keeps their serves aggressive and who passes well.
Mercado threw a triple block, denied. Good hustle. Mercado again. Off 2 touches. Point Mastodons.
Bryce Walker using some of that senior veteran volleyball IQ and recognizing that no one was going to get to that ball except for him, goes and makes a one-handed set. He gets the assist.
To finish my thought about the official, Jeffrey Termolen has an older brother, Mike, who was a player here with the Dons. Service ace with a break for Mercado. 20-17, timeout called by Lewis. First of 2 allotted timeouts in this set. And you know the old phrase, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, comes into play there. Hit the top of the tape and teetered before going forward.
It works both ways.
Yes, true.
Well, that's 5 aces for the Dons on the night. And when you look at the score, they've got 20, so a quarter of their points have come off of serving. And really, they've had a lot of serves, while they might not count it as aces, have caused Lewis trouble on serve receive, allowing some defensive opportunities for the Dons. So serving and passing seems to be the thing that's making the difference in this match for both teams. The Dons, 5 service aces, only 3 service errors. Lewis, only 1 ace and 2 service errors.
And the hitting percentage continues to climb. 450 for the Mastodons. 10 kills, 20 swings, only 1 attack error. 346 for the Flyers. 12 kills, 26 swings, 3 attack errors.
One thing the Dons are doing really, really well is they're making digs and making swings that are in or touching the block. They're not giving up a lot of hitting errors, even when they're out of system. And so they're converting digs. They're serving tough and getting easier attacks. Only 1 hitting error on the night for the Mastodons. 3 for Lewis.
Mercado will continue to serve from right to left. Good hustle there, and a miss hit by Drossum will give Purdue Fort Wayne a 4-point lead, 21-17.
Putting that serve on Drossum and then having him have to approach and hit, especially as a lefty, difficult.
Good block. I think Walker might have gotten help from Pullman. Everything going the way of the Mastodons right now is they are just 3 points away from winning the opening set.
I'm a little surprised we haven't seen a second timeout called by Lewis at this point. The first timeout of all of it was a media timeout.
Point Lewis that time. Almost a delayed swing. We saw that once earlier in this set.
Morgan going and rescuing a tight pass. Able to get it to his middle.
Siva Drossum to serve for Lewis. Wearing the black jerseys tonight with red trim. Dietrich. And it's 23-18.
Dietrich remaining perfect on the night. 5 kills on 8 swings. This is what they've needed out of him tonight. And then they're getting good ball control and defense out of their back row.
Bryce Walker to serve. That high toss. Miss it. That is the 4th service error on Purdue Fort Wayne in this set.
Talking to Coach Perrott earlier this week, one thing he was really hoping his team would do a little better would be to reduce service errors, and they have. When you have more aces than you have errors, in the men's game in particular, you're doing something really, really right.
Tate Sandvig, a 6'5" junior from Boone, Iowa, serving. The lollipop serve. Frazier, yes. And it's multiple set point for Purdue Fort Wayne.
Hitting a short serve there, trying to clog up the serve receive of the Dons. Give it a little trouble to Casey to get in there. But they handle it well.
Mastodon fans on their feet. Polomatz puts it high in the air. Partial block. Landis with the dig. Frazier off the touch, and the first set is over. What a set it was by the Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons, committing just 1 attack error, and they win the opening set by a score of 25-19. Teams are switching ends, and then we'll get the second set underway. We'll take a momentary break, and we'll come back in about 60 seconds. Again, first set won by Purdue Fort Wayne, 25-19. And from Arnie Ball Court, You're watching MIVA Men's Volleyball tonight on YouTube. Welcome back to Arnie Ball Court. Set one in our best of five match featuring 14th ranked Lewis and 20th ranked Purdue Fort Wayne goes to the home team. Purdue Fort Wayne by a score of 25-19, and they pretty much dominated the set. Kills were even at 13, assists favoring Purdue Fort Wayne 13-11. Digs even at 8. Team blocks, Mastodons with 2, Flyers with none. Purdue Fort Wayne hit 522, 13 kills, 23 swings, just 1 attack error. Lewis hitting 267, 13 kills in 30 swings with 5 attack errors. And Steve, a little bit of balanced scoring, if you will. John Dietrich with 5 kills, Mark Frazier 4, Carlos Mercado 3, and Casey Lyons 1. For Lewis, Max Rocky with 5, Daniel Haber with 4. 2 for Sean Baggs and 1 apiece for Tyler Morgan and Drolsom.
Yeah, difference in that first set was serving and passing.
Yeah.
Don serving 5 aces and only 4 errors. 1 ace and 2 errors for Lewis. But the other part of that is the Dons converting a lot of their digs.
Yeah.
Playing scrappy defense, extending plays, taking swings, tooling the block, and doing all of that without making any hitting errors, save for 1.
Well, in this second set, Purdue Fort Wayne will be going from left to right, and they'll serve first, and the person of their freshman setter, Andre Polomatz. See if they can continue to play well. And right away, Dietrich thwarting Haber at the net for a block, and it's 1-0 Purdue Fort Wayne.
Haber had a single block and chose to take the ball line. Dietrich lined up on him. Had a seam, didn't take it.
Lamont spins the ball in his hand, now throws it up in the air. Just long, and I mean, it could have been more than 6 inches long. But it is a service there, and Lewis on the board. And now their 6'7" setter, Tyler Morgan, will serve from the right corner. Dietrich.
Cutting the ball inside of the double block. It was a little bit of a low flat set. Dietrich just had enough height on it to get it over the top of the net. Did clip the tape, but pretty sharp angle. Tough defense there.
Steve, you only get 3 minutes to make some adjustments. What do you think Lewis will do in this set to try to get things back on track?
Well, I mean, you know, they need to just reduce their errors and, you know, clean up their ball control a little bit. So that as a coach, either change personnel or tell you guys that's what has to happen.
Denied on a triple block, second chance. Nice save, and off the touch, it's Daniel Haber. Oh, wow.
And we're going to get a center line violation called. I'm not sure which player from Lewis is getting the center line violation. And sometimes that's the setter. A lot of times in those situations, the setter will get called on that as they come down from setting. And basically, you're not allowed to step over the center line when you're playing the ball. Will you ever?
That's the first time I've seen that in
Yeah, it was
long, long time.
a lot of times when that call gets made, the only person that sees it is the R2. Nobody in the gym saw that except for the R2.
And Dan Friend is not a happy camper right now. So it is 3-1 Purdue Fort Wayne rather than being tied at 2.
Well, he's fired up, Coach Friend is.
Yes, he is.
His team needs to turn this into points, take some of that aggression and put it on the floor.
Oh, big swing denied. But not so the second time as Vamachil makes it 3-2. Let's see how Lewis responds now after that call.
Well, that was a swing of anger.
Yes, it was.
In my opinion.
Haber with the serve. Pulamats to the right side for Dietrich. Haber keeps it alive. Touch shot. Mercado off the touch. Interesting there, Steve. It looked like Lewis thought Dietrich was going to get it, and instead they swing it to the left to Mercado, who had a wide open swing.
Well, good setting there by Pulamats.
Casey Lyons with the serve at 4-2. Pulamats with the dig. Here.
Oh, tough set.
Yeah, easy play for Rocky to put it home.
And really, so far this match, a rare out-of-system miscue by the Dons. They've been really, really good out of system tonight. Real clean, pretty much error-free.
Yep. Vamacho with the serve. Mercado receives. Dietrich. And what do we got here?
Yeah, net violation on Lewis. No doubt about that.
I'm starting to get the feeling, Steve, that pick a coach or player in black and you could probably start frying eggs for breakfast on the back of their neck.
Well, if you're Lewis, you don't want to get carried away about arguing every call here. It was smarter, Dan Friend, to ask his player, did you touch net, before he went at the official. You
Nice.
want to turn your focus back to the match and not, take it off the officiating if possible.
Nice swing by Sean Baggs for the kill. And it's 5-4. Siva Drosom to serve for a second set tie. Dietrich over a double block and just in.
Or just sails a little
Just
wide.
Okay. I was looking at the line judge, and he went down with this flag.
Just as well, there's two lines judges, and it has to be in on both lines. So if one calls it in, but one calls it out, it's out.
Okay. So we are tied at 5, and Drosom again to serve right to left, and this time he goes long for a service error. That's the third service error on the Flyers so far in this match. But Purdue Fort Wayne takes a 6-5 lead in the set. And here is Carlos Mercado. Rocky, yes. Good set by Morgan.
Yeah, got it out past the block. Had mostly line to swing at. A little over the top of Pulamats even still. Tough defensive play when he's going over the top and has the line.
Max Rocky, who had 18 kills the first meeting this year with the serve. Frazier over a triple block off the touch. Yes, point Purdue Fort Wayne.
And another out-of-system kill for the Dons. It's where they've shined tonight, along with their service.
Bryce Walker will serve. Purdue Fort Wayne with a 1-point lead, 7-6. Left side. Long, the swing by Haber. 8-6, Mastodons.
And Haber having a bit of a tough go tonight. 4 kills, 3 errors, hitting just above 0. In this set particularly, he's struggling.
And that's going to be a service ace for Walker. His second ace of the match. And it's a 3-point lead, 9-6 for Purdue Fort Wayne.
Haber's going to be checking out.
John Davis, a 6'5" redshirt senior out of Naperville, Illinois, checks in. Oh, I do know where Naperville is. Especially the Best Western Inn.
The Dons waste no time going at Davis with the serve, and he passes a good pass.
And Drossen with that left arm of his puts it away to make it 9-7.
Getting a serving check, making sure they have the right server is Lewis.
Sean Baggs bouncing the ball like a basketball free throw shooter. Now he throws it up. Dietrich, tip shot, dugout. Drossen, what a dig in the backcourt, I believe by Hernandez. Another dig. Frazier!
And a little scare at the net there. Frazier, maybe some contact between Frazier
and Morgan.
And a little back and forth between Coach Friend and the down official about, hey, he came under and stepped on my player. No call, but no call to be made as he hit the ball out of bounds anyhow.
Look out, coming back this way. Diving dig by Dietrich, and now what do we got? Point Lewis, Dietrich.
Now Dietrich slid well underneath the net, so center line violation. And really, if I'm Lewis, I actually want to check the floor for some sweat or moisture where he came on my side. I wouldn't want my players jumping in that area right now.
Flyers on a 3-0 run. They've tied the set at 9 apiece. Overpass on the receive. I wonder if Rock's going to call a timeout. And indeed he does.
You read him like a book, Mike.
I've known him for over 20 years. Timeout, Purdue Fort Wayne, as now Lewis leads the second set by a score of 10-9. Mentioned there were some other matches going on. And first up, we'll head to Charlotte, North Carolina, where Lindenwood continues their fine play. They win their 8th match in the conference and 12th match overall, defeating Queens in straight sets, 25-13, 25-21, 25-22. Those two teams will play again in the season finale tomorrow. What a match going on in Columbus tonight. Ohio State finishing their regular season by hosting McKendree. And they are in the second set. McKendree won the first set, and they lead the second set 16-15. And the one nice thing I see, Steve, for the first time in a long time for Ohio State, their key player, Jacob Pasture, is in the lineup, and he's already got 5 kills and hitting .333 thus far in the match. It's now 17-15 McKendree, second set. Bearcats up 1-0.
And that's a match that the Dons need to go the Ohio State way.
Yes.
Yeah, McKendree needs to lose that match for anything to happen for the Dons going forward.
Second set in Muncie, Ball State leading Quincy 6-4 after winning the opening set 25-23. And out of the timeout, Mark Frazier off the touch ties the set at 10 apiece.
Purdue Fort Wayne coming back with a good pass, good set, a nice swing off the inside tool.
And Polomatz will serve. Left side, cut shot, wide right by Davis.
And we refer to this position that Davis is in, that Haber was in, as the L2 position. And right now, out of that L2 position, they're getting a negative attack percentage, which is something Lewis needs to correct if they're going to have success tonight.
Another deep serve by Polomatz. And Lewis unable to get it back over.
Serving and passing continues to be the theme of the night.
It's been a theme of volleyball from the opening set.
Yeah, I mean,
volleyball kind.
Absolutely.
Timeout, Lewis. They now trail the set 12-10.
So Lewis needs to find an answer to handling the Mastodon serve a little better, and they need to find an answer in that L2 position. Between Haber and Davis, again, they're hitting negative in that spot.
Could you kind of explain to some of our viewers what L2 means?
Well, L1 is the outside hitter that is directly next to the setter. So when the setter's front row, that outside hitter will be one of two hitters with that setter for 2 rotations. The L2 is only in the front row with that setter for 1 rotation, and with 3 hitters is part of a 3-hitter offense for 2 rotations. So the L2 on most teams is meant to pass serve well. They're not expected to get a ton of kills, but get kills and reduce their errors. Where the L1 is more meant to be the cleanup hitter, if you will, of the volleyball team. Supposed to be the big slugger. So the L2 is meant to just kind of keep the stats up, not push the needle too far forward in the kills category, but pass serve well, play good defense, be a decent block, and be a decent attacker. And that's what Mercado is doing for the Dons. He's putting up a few kills, he's limiting his errors, he plays good defense and passes good serve.
Back to the action here. Oh, nice set, nice swing by Drossum. Seaver picking up his 4th kill of the night.
It's really, really hard to win a volleyball match, though, if one of your outside hitters' positions is hitting negative and the other outside hitter position is hitting positive. They kind of wash each other out.
Tyler Morgan to serve for a 2nd set tie. Little lollipop serve. Casey Lyons glancing it off of Nico Paula.
They tried that exact same serve in set 1 in that exact same rotation, and both times Casey Lyons did a nice job of staying out of the way of the serve and being available to the setter. That time he did receive the set and converted.
Mark Frazier to serve. Mastodons a 2-point lead here in the 2nd set. Make that 1 point. His serve goes long. That is the 6th service there on Purdue Fort Wayne so far tonight.
But for what they're getting out of their serve, the ratio right now is acceptable. 7 aces to 6 errors is a very good ratio. And they are trying to be challenging with their serve. That was intended for Drossum, just missed.
John Davis with the serve. Dietrich off the hands of Morgan. 14-12, Purdue Fort Wayne.
And as long as the Dons pass the way they have been and are able to get the ball to their big guns off serve receive, they can afford to miss serves with the way they're scoring off of them as well.
Lyons clips the top of the net and he goes backwards. And it's 14-13.
Now that was not an aggressive serve, so that's a miss you don't want. You're okay to miss serves if you're serving aggressively.
You don't want to put the throttle in reverse. Peter Vamacho with the serve. Overpass on the receive. Dons get a break. And Walker makes Lewis pay.
Yeah, if you're Lewis, that ball needs to be put away. If you're the middle hitter, you need to step back on it and swing. But the 2-handed dump as you're jumping backwards is not going to score. Turns into almost a free ball for the Mastodons.
John Dietrich to serve at 15-13. Morgan throws it up, tough angle. Rocky, long or touch? It is long.
Yeah, long. Nico Paul, fantastic coverage play. And they are going to push Drolsom out of the receive. Davis will be in the middle of the receive for Lewis. This is a pivotal point. They can't let, if you're Lewis, you do not want to allow this lead to slip anymore.
Dietrich with the service error. It's now 8 service errors on the Mastodons, which basically wipes out their 7 service aces. Drolsom to serve at 14-16 for Lewis. Polomatz to the left. Mercado goes long, try to go down the line.
Yeah, he was definitely hitting for hands there. He was not trying to put that ball down into the court. He was swinging absolutely for hands and missed. But that's a savvy play, and most of the time it's been working for him. A lot of his kills since he's been playing the L2 position for the Dons have been 2 kills.
Well, Zeba Drolsom to serve for a set tie. Josso at the net. And the return by Paula went wide left.
Polomatz calmly playing that joust, not just pushing back, but pushing out of bounds, wiping it off in the joust to his advantage. Nico Paul almost came up with that play, though. 2 cover plays in a row almost by him.
Mercado, deep serve. Morgan goes to the left for Rocky. Off of first Dietrich and then Walker, and it's a point for the Lewis Flyers. And they get another chance to tie the set, now trailing 17-16. And we'll see what a 6'8" junior from Johnston, Iowa, Max Rocky can do.
Little timeout here, not really a timeout, a little break in the action to clean up some sweat off the floor. Real dangerous if there's moisture on the floor, with this being a jumping sport. Could cause a serious injury if you step on a slippery spot.
Short toss by Rocky, just gets it over. Dietrich. Yes. Got it off of Baggs, who just couldn't get it over the net. 18-16 Mastodons. A lot of side outs recently.
Lewis continues to try and hit that short serve with the middle cutting across. Don's not affected by it.
Bryce Walker long again. That is his 3rd service error to go against 2 service aces tonight. Lewis hanging in there. Again, a chance to tie the set as they trail 18-17. Sean Baggs with the serving honors. Into his side of the net. Serving can be contagious.
Yeah, and middle hitter serving, there's an example, not always the best servers. That's why it's such an advantage to have somebody like Bryce Walker, although he has, since that first run, really hasn't been effective. In fact, missed several.
Polomatz throws it up in the air. Clips the net, but it is received by Davis. Gets it back. Wide left on the swing. He tried to pop it over 3 Mastodons.
Oh, and after a break on the bench, Haber's going to come back in.
Now Purdue Fort Wayne 20, Lewis 17 here in the 2nd set. Andre Polomatz continuing to serve left to right.
Lewis still trying to find an answer on that L2 position.
Deep serve. Morgan, 1 deny. Somehow the Dons get it back. Frazier off the touch. Uh-oh.
There the Dons doing, again, a nice job of scrapping out points, getting good swings, good out-of-system swing on the triple block. Frazier took a little off it, top of the hands, tooled it across the court.
When that point ended, Paula grabbed his back. Timeout called, I believe, by Lewis. And hopefully Nico Paula, again a 6'1" sophomore libero from Tampa, will be okay.
All right, he looks okay sitting down, just collecting himself. But again, the scrappy defense of the Dons and the ability to keep out-of-system balls in play, and you're not seeing that same thing at the same level of consistency from Lewis. A lot of that coming from that L2 position in general, still hitting negative in that position. And when you think about it, Haber is second on the team in kills. So
yeah.
When you have your second best attacker hitting 0, that's a problem. And for the Dons, they're getting what they need out of their players. Frazier hitting 500, Dietrich hitting 500. I mean, that's their 2 big bangers right there. And Mercado in the L2 position chipping in at a 375.
It looks to me at this point of the match, and we're only in the second set, it looks to me at this point like Purdue Fort Wayne is playing with a purpose. They know they still have the mathematical chance, and you give it your all until there is no such chance.
Right.
And Lewis maybe thinking back about their 4-set win a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I know with the way they're arguing calls and the way they're playing, I mean, there is a desire to win here. It's not, they're certainly not expecting this. They're fighting, but the Dons just playing a cleaner match overall in general.
Polomatz returns with the serve. Jasso at the net. Tip shot. Polomatz with the diving dig. Dietrich rejected. Lyons rejected. Right side to Dietrich. Off the touch, off 2 touches. Point Purdue Fort Wayne.
And all the bounces going the Dons' way.
Yeah.
Blocks going into the net, staying in. They're able to lift it out. All the tippy-tappy plays Dons getting their hands on. And scrapping out, it's what we call scrapping out points in volleyball. And just scrapping out more. And again, out of system, reducing errors. Nice high hand swing by Dietrich there.
22-17. Polomatz continues to serve left to right. Morgan. Off the touch, a kill for Daniel Haber. 22-18. It was 22-18 in the first set. Tyler Morgan to serve. The 6'7" junior setter out of Iowa.
And right now, everything's bouncing right for the Dons, and they're earning that. They're fighting, and they're playing with a purpose, and energy is real good on their side. Momentum seems to be wearing white tonight.
Frazier off the touch makes it 23-18. And for Mark Frazier, that's his 8th kill, 14 swings. And now he will serve, with the Mastodons just 2 points away from taking a 2-set-to-none lead in this best-of-5 match. Little punch serve there. Morgan throws him. Off the touch, point Lewis.
I knew I liked him for a reason.
Good solid serve. Lyons off the touch, off of Morgan into the crowd. Again, multiple set points coming up for Purdue Fort Wayne as they are up 24-19. And coming in to serve for the set is Andrew Meyer, 6'3" freshman out of Indianapolis, is Roncalli High School. Deep breath, high toss, left-handed swing. Morgan stays to the right. Good swing by Drossum. His 6th kill, and that's 1 set point averted. Bomachil with the serve, rather. Dietrich rejected, and it's 24-21. 2 set points averted.
Plenty of time for the Dons. If I'm Paul Amatz, I give Dietrich a chance to come back on this. They've got points to play with. Dietrich is good for him, but that's for sure. Let's see if Paul Amatz does like to repeat. Let's see what he does here.
Dietrich, tip shot, kept alive. Rocky over a double block. Oh, good hustle from Frazier. Back to Rocky. Denied by Mercado. Dietrich over a triple block off 2 touches, and the set is over. John Dietrich with his 11th kill of the night. And Purdue Fort Wayne wins the second set, 25-21, to take a 2-0 lead. Now it's volleyball's version of halftime, a 5-minute break between sets 2 and 3. The teams once again will switch ends. And we will take a 1-minute break. And we'll be back with more MIVA volleyball as you are watching MIVA men's volleyball tonight on YouTube. Back in 60 seconds. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Arnie Ball Court, named in honor of Arnie Ball, the original first head coach for men's volleyball, coached both men's and women's volleyball here at the university for some 35 years. Member of the Volleyball Hall of Fame. And so far, it's been a good night for the home team, the Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons. They won the first set 25-19. They won the second set 25-21 over 14th-ranked Lewis. But Steve Florio, we all know that you have to win 3 sets and not 2 to win a match. Lewis is still alive.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're not 14th-ranked team in the country for nothing.
Absolutely. And Don's playing great volleyball tonight. A couple of the differences. Serving, as we've talked about extensively. Mastodons, 7 aces, 9 errors. Very acceptable ratio, considering they're giving such trouble to the Lewis serve receive, even when the serve isn't an ace. And really, defense transition to kill. The Dons just converting a lot of their digs. Perfect example of that was that very last rally of set 2. Lots of back and forth, one-handed plays, and then a big tool kill by Dietrich to finish the set. And that's something that they've been doing really well, is making the plays, but then not terminating the ball for Lewis by making hitting errors. So they're playing a really good out-of-system volleyball, and serving really tough. And getting some good ball control on the serve receive end, too. Everything going right now for the Dons, truthfully.
It really is. And you look at some of the numbers, and the number that really sticks out to me is the number 5. And the number 5 is how many attack errors Purdue Fort Wayne has had total for the first 2 sets of the match, as opposed to 11 for Lewis. And when you can hit a combined 442 in 2 sets of play and only commit 5 attack errors,
Yep, and
it's
that's
a reason why they're on top right now.
A lot of time attack errors come when you're making those scramble plays and you're hitting the ball from an inopportune spot. And that's one thing Purdue Fort Wayne is doing really, really well, is when they're out of system, when they're in trouble, they're not giving the point away. They're making safer swings. They're hitting high hands, tooling the block out of bounds sometimes, or just allowing their defense to have another chance to make a dig and set them up for another swing. It's just really well-played volleyball by the Mastodons tonight so far.
I asked you before the second set, what adjustments might Lewis make? I'll ask you that same question again. And now that their backs are to the wall, they're down 2-0 and would have to win not 1, not 2, but 3 sets in a row to come out victorious tonight.
Well, they have 11 hitting errors, right? We talked about that. They want to clean it up. 6 of those 11 hitting errors has come from that L2 position, 4 from Haber, 2 from Davis. So they have a position on the floor that they need to get kills from. It's the second most kill position for them, and they're getting negative hitting percentage out of it. So that has to change. Haber's back on the floor.
Yep.
They're starting in a different rotation, maybe. It looks like we're going to see Rocky come up to the front row immediately, whereas they started where Rocky was going to go back row immediately. So starting in a traditional, well, they're starting with their setter in the front left. So they've rolled 3 rotations where they've been starting with their setter in the back right, or to rotate in the back right. So they've rolled 3 times. That's one answer coaches look for sometimes, is let's change matchups. And in this case, this gets Rocky up to the front row a lot faster.
See, Bedrosum serving first, and set number 3 is underway. Dietrich rejected, and the Flyers win the first point of the set.
And wow, for as good of defense that the Dons have been playing, that was unusual for that ball to hit the ground. A fairly easy cover play, and I expected that was going to be an easy recycle and another swing by the Dons. So I don't expect that their defense is breaking down. I just was surprised to see that.
High toss, left-handed swing, a good serve. Frazier over a triple block, and that's rejected. I believe Baggs did it. 2-0 Lewis, and Lewis has nothing to lose. They're down 2-0.
Yeah, you can see them celebrate that point really hard, trying to get some energy on their side, get more focus. Starting with some really good serving by Drolsom.
Frazier. And it's 2-1.
Drolsom, who zipped his first 2 serves across, tried to take something off, and perfect pass by the Dons, and a good set to the outside by Frazier, who's having a great night.
Andre Pulamot's now serving for a 3rd set tie. Morgan to the right, and off the touch. Drolsom picks up another kill. That is his 7th of the match. And Lewis looks like they're playing with more purpose and more intensity here in the early parts of set number 3.
Well, after that 5-minute break, you don't want to come out flat if you're the team in the lead. And if you're the team behind, right, you said you got nothing to lose, let's go.
Clips the net, gets it across. Casey Lyons rejected. Dietrich rejected. The block successful. 4-1 Lewis.
And blocking is something Lewis is doing. That's 3 blocks, I think, in this set, or at least 2. They've been turning away a lot of swings already, though. So the Dons want to stay on those high hand swings right now, especially when there's a triple block in their face. It's been working for them so well tonight. Don't go away from that.
Right side, Frazier off the touch, falling backwards, or did he hit the net? Hit the antenna.
So I don't know if they're talking about contact underneath the net. Rocky got up slowly. I don't know that Frazier landed on Rocky. That set was far back. Frazier was in rhythm, approaching, and a rare set off the net by Polomatz. He set it almost 5 feet off the net. Frazier had to jump backwards to hit it. And that's an example, though.
Yeah.
Not a great set and still keeping the ball in play. That could have been an error easily.
Mark Frazier serves it into the net, and it's 5-2 Flyers with the early lead here in set 3. And let's see who's going to serve. Sean Baggs will serve for Lewis. Mercado rejected. Right side for Dietrich, tip shot. Rejected. Who's going to get it? Dietrich clips the net and it goes dead left.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Polomatz was on that. Hernandez made a nice play on that overdig, played it up real high, and maybe Polomatz was moving for it too and couldn't redirect, but setter nowhere to be found, and the Dons had to scramble to just even get a swing.
Mercado rejected. And confusion, it'll be another Flyer point. You wonder if Rock's going to call a timeout. And indeed he does.
Well, you're 2 for 2 tonight, Mike.
Just lucky. Just lucky, Steve.
Hey, after 20 years, you're figuring it out, huh?
Only taken me 29 years. 29 years doing
29.
this, and over 20. I remember, Rock was a player when I started.
Well, it's a good timeout by Rock,
Yeah,
obviously.
it is.
Lewis coming out with a renewed energy, getting some blocks, lots of blocks. Some good coverage by the Dons, but the point is, Dons haven't had many swings go past the block tonight in this third set. And I don't know. I think the difference is they're swinging. They're swinging for kills now, and what I mean by that is, when you have a triple block in your face, you want to play smart, make a high point of contact, get the top of the block. So even if it does get touched, it bounces up. Hopefully, bounces on their side, or makes an easy cover on your side. And they've been swinging, as hard as they can down into the block, at least in this set, and that is a difference from sets 1 and 2.
Well, hopefully, if you're a Mastodon fan, the timeout will be helpful just to get the rocks out of their head, so to speak, and get refocused, because the first 2 sets they played very, very well. And you don't want to have a team like Lewis get a chance to get back into it, because if they do, they could flip this match 180 degrees. Timeout completed, and Sean Baggs again to serve. And this time he goes long for a service error.
Good timeout, Coach.
Yes, it was. For those of you that like Purdue Fort Wayne tonight.
All right, Casey Lyons back to serve. And this is one where he wants to keep in and give the Dons a chance to build some momentum.
And he does keep the serve in play. On the run, good block by Walker and Mercado, denying Drossel a kill. And it's 7-4. 2 points in a row by Purdue Fort Wayne as they try to get their way back into this set. Little deeper serve. Rocky dug out by Polomatz. Dietrich over a triple block. Haber keeps it alive. Frazier.
Ooh, I like that play.
Had the chance, but goes wide right.
Yeah, I like that play. Just missed, but smart heads-up play. Polomatz had the free ball coming easy, and they've done that before, you can tell.
Yeah.
Just missed it. But Lewis was completely caught off guard. I'm not even sure they had a block up on that, and if they did, it wasn't meaningful.
8-4 Flyers. And Mercado off of 2 Flyers there. Carlos Mercado now with 5 kills tonight, and it is 8-5. The Lewis lead cut to 3.
And see, that's what I'm talking about. Mercado just doing enough. 5 kills, 2 errors, keeping his team afloat in that regard, and letting the big hitters do their jobs.
Dietrich got the fortuitous break. Picks up another service ace, his second of the night, and it's 8-6. As that ball clipped the top of the tape and spun forward, and Morgan just couldn't get to it in time. Left side set up. Hernandez a dig, roof shot. Successful.
And just kind of a slam dunk there by Vimachil.
9-6 Flyers on top. Max Rocky to serve. Pulamats for Dietrich. Yes, off the touch.
Great pass by Frazier. Pulamats did a nice job of staying neutral in that set. Bryce Walker up and hanging, and Pulamats gets a one-on-one, almost a one-on-none. It was such a good set.
Carlos Mercado throws it up in the air. And thought that ball was going to go long. And off the touch, successful kill for Daniel Haber.
And that's what Lewis wants to see more of. They need to see Haber get more positive in that attacking column.
Haber now with 5 kills and 16 swings.
Rocky a kill leader for Lewis. They have not used him out of the back row very much. So when he's in the back row, if they're not getting offense out of other people, that's a problem.
Haber blocked at the net. Right side, Drossum gets it through. 11-7 Lewis here in the third set.
Dons don't have a lefty, at least healthy, that they can practice against. So
yeah,
it can cause some trouble seeing a lefty when you don't have one in your gym.
A service error by Vamachil makes it 11-8. Lewis still with a 3-point lead. And Bryce Walker, who has 2 service aces tonight already, serving again. Took something off of that serve. Right side, throws him.
And Frazier just missed that.
Block.
Again, Drolsom left hand. Frazier jumps a little outside him, does a nice job of bringing his hands back into the court. But again, not used to blocking lefties. He wants to be just a little more over on that. Drolsom coming, you know, he's been here all night. He's been getting some big kills, but he's not been stringing kills together, and I think that's 2 or 3 in a row now for him. So that's a good sign for Lewis too.
Frazier off the touch. Mark picks up his 11th kill of the night, and it's 12-9 here in the third set. Pulamats to serve. Mastodons lead the match 2-0. Lewis up in this third. Solid serve. Left side. Haber kept alive. Nice hustle by Frazier. Dietrich.
What a hustle play by Frazier.
Lewis, yeah.
Good swings by Lewis, applying a lot more offensive pressure in this set. Don's defensive effort still very, very strong. I mean, and, you know, we talk about this on our team. Those hustle plays, even if you don't win the points, they apply pressure to the opponent. Yeah. They let the opponent know you're going to have to work this hard to score. And it forces them to thread the needle a little more or have to, you know, have to hit harder or play harder, knowing that that's the only way they're going to get kills, and that's where errors come from at that point. Does the opponent want to engage in long rallies?
Lyons off 2 touches. And for Casey, that's his 4th kill in 7 swings tonight.
And the good passing for the Dons continues, allowing Pulamats to pick and choose his attackers and spread his offense out and really cause some blocking confusion. Earlier in the set, there were some tougher passes that limited Pulamats' options.
Morgan goes left side for Rocket off the touch. And it's 14-10 in favor of the Flyers. Even the third set. Sean Baggs to serve. Clips the net, receive, but flipped over. Easy pickings for Vomachel, and it's 15-10. Lewis, their biggest lead of this set.
Now, there does need to be a sense of urgency on the Don side. They cannot sit with this 2-0 lead. They want to fight back in this one. They need a 3-set win over Lewis. Otherwise, it comes down to points if they have the tiebreak.
Mercado. Hit, that's almost 4 hits, I thought. Play continues. Dietrich. Drossum keeps it alive, gets it back. Dietrich with the dig. On the run, Frazier off the touch with the kill. And it's 15-11.
Really fast tempo on that Bick again. They can keep it there. They can go to it more. Lewis doing all they can. Noticed they took a couple safer shots to reduce errors. Don's converting their digs, though.
Lyons goes long on the serve. Flyers back up by 5, 16-11.
Drossum, who's been a point of scoring for Lewis, rotates back into the front row. So bigger block and heavy arm on the right side there.
Overpass, wide right, I should say, on the receive.
Just a miscue. All right, what Frazier needs to do now, though, is take a breath and be ready, because they're going to go back to him. Okay. He knows he can pass it.
Morgan throws it up. Right side, Dietrich blocked. Mercado over a triple block off the touch, yes. I love what Polomonts did there, Steve. Everyone thought that maybe perhaps John was going to get it back, and not to be.
Well, really tough play. Mercado was really the only option there, as Dietrich had to come in and do it like a self-cover on that bad first set. And again, just nice, steady play by Mercado. Keeps the Dons going.
Mercado over a triple block off the touch. And it's 17-13.
On those swings, he's not intending for that ball to hit the ground inbounds. He is purposely swinging for hands to go out of bounds. Just really savvy veteran.
How hard is it to do that, though?
Well, the big block is there. It's not that hard if you know what you're doing and you commit to it.
Dietrich goes long on his serve attempt, however. So Flyers up by 5, 18-13 here in the third set. Max Rocky to serve.
Again, they're going to need, Lewis will need Haber to continue to heat up and Drossum to stay where he is.
Walker a miss hit, but it's kept alive. Haber off of Frazier. And now Lewis up 19-13.
Haber, that's his third kill of this set. He's had 4 through the first 2, so right spot for Lewis, and one of the reasons they've got the lead in this set.
Polomonts for Walker. Is that wide right? It is wide right. Timeout called by Ryan Perrott. His team now down, as they say in football, by a converted touchdown, 20-13.
Well, looking at this kind of the tiebreak situation here, Lewis 8-6, the Mastodons 6-8. If the Mastodons win tonight and then their match on Saturday, 8-8.
Lewis, by the way, will finish their season Saturday at Loyola.
Right, tough match, crosstown rivalry.
Yep.
Anything can go there. So if Lewis loses that one and the Dons win tonight, they're both 8-8. Lewis winning 4 sets in 4 sets when they were in Romeoville means the Dons really need to win this in 3 if they're going to have a head-to-head tiebreak there.
Boy, I'm looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, and I'm in somewhat shock in Columbus. Buckeyes lead McKendree 23-22 in the third set, but McKendree leads the match 2-0 on the road.
And the Dons are hoping to finish in a position where they can host a quarterfinal. But if McKendree wins tonight, I think that'll dash those hopes.
Yeah.
However, you still want to finish with a high seed. You know, right now they'd be going in the 8 or 7 seed, and they could finish as high as 4 if everything bounces their way. They're doing their part tonight, but it seems like McKendree's doing McKendree's part too.
Back to the action here. Both times that Purdue Fort Wayne has called a timeout in this set, they've gotten a nice point out of it thanks to a service error. So it's now 20-14 Flyers. Carlos Mercado serving for Purdue Fort Wayne. Jess Long. And it's 21-14.
Now, if the Dons beat the Flyers in 4,
yes,
then it comes down to, I believe, points. And again, that's just for the tiebreak between the two teams.
Frazier denied. Right side. Walker's block off a swing by Baggs is wide left. And right now it is Lewis having everything going their way as they're 3 points away from winning the third set.
Purdue Fort Wayne has 8 hitting errors in this set, and Lewis only 1, so they've reversed it.
Dietrich comes through on the right side to make it 22-15.
Mike, it was one of the things you spoke about in between the sets was the 11 hitting errors that Lewis had.
Yeah.
They have cleaned that up with only 1 in this set.
And Purdue Fort Wayne had only 5 attack errors through the first 2 sets. And Walker with the serve. Haber. Long. Lewis, the players are claiming a touch, asking Dan Friend to get out the green challenge card.
So doesn't look like he's going to go to it. He burnt one earlier in the match. He's looking at this might go the distance here, at least in my mind. If I'm the coach, I'm thinking that. And he's got a big enough lead. He doesn't want to use that challenge with a 6-point lead.
And it becomes a 7-point lead with Walker's service error.
His players really wanted him to challenge that, but he
really
didn't
did.
even make a step towards that card. And I could see.
Well, that's a veteran coach right there.
Yeah, he's got a 6-point lead, and he's only 2 or 3 points away from winning. Let's save the challenge and just finish it ourselves.
He'd rather have 2 challenges in the fourth set if it goes there as opposed to 1.
Yep.
Dietrich, and the block attempt by Baggs goes wide left. It's 23-17. Polomat's to serve for Purdue Fort Wayne. And point Purdue Fort Wayne. Good serve that time. 23-18.
That trend continues. The Dons still hitting great serves.
Yeah. Clips the net, but it is received by Rocky. Block! Dietrich and Lyons combined, and it's 23-19.
And if you're Lewis, Rocky's been playing good tonight.
Nice.
Wow, you got Haber, excuse me, out there.
I'll go for the trifecta,
Yeah, but
Steve.
you've got Drolsom can hit a blue out of the back here. See what they do.
Haber, blocked again. Now I think Dan Friend will call a timeout. As Purdue Fort Wayne has ripped off 4 points in a row to turn a 7-point deficit into a 3-point deficit. So timeout Flyers. It's now 23-20.
And Dan Friend having a word with his setter right now, and I probably would be too. I always say I do like repeat sets, but he's really not running an offense right. He's just throwing up high balls to his pin right now, and he's had opportunities to kick that ball to other areas, get his middles involved. Again, that's something with they had a 6-point lead or 7-point lead. That's something you want to use that lead for, is find other hitters, fill that stat column a little bit, spread your offense, get the block guessing a little bit.
Here's one of my famous curveball questions for you. When you prepare for a season, and for you and your team, we're talking probably July or so, or early August or July, do you, in the offseason, try to set up a format for your setters and what you want them to try to accomplish in terms of where they want to set the ball to? Or
well, we don't do that. I mean, we do that all year round, you know, and we go off of what we have and what our personnel is, and sometimes who we're playing. It's a standard rule of thumb in volleyball. You want to try and distribute the ball whenever possible evenly. To have a spread and balanced offense is really, really important. And right now, Lewis needs to find their middles maybe, or get Jolson back involved.
And long is the swing by Baggs, and it's 23-21.
I don't mind that attempt to Baggs there, but that maybe should have happened three sets ago. So Coach Dan Friend, who didn't want to burn a challenge on that first play, is going to call a challenge and ask for a touch. I did not see a touch. I don't think there was. And I think now this is a timeout for Dan Friend. And it's close enough play that he can use the challenge.
And at this late point of the set, take a chance.
Yeah. He tried to save that challenge on his players thing. There was a touch before, and now he finds himself in a spot where the Dons have the momentum. Lewis is in a tough rotation. Haber's having trouble getting the ball past the block. Baggs having a little difficulty finding the court. Rocky doesn't seem to hit out of the back row very much, or they're not using him tonight out of the back row. And they haven't been able to find Drolsom in the back row. They're just kind of stuck right now. So veteran coach over there in Dan Friend knows exactly what he's doing, and he's out of timeouts. So let's go with the challenge. And maybe they get the call too, but I did not see a touch from where I'm sitting. So we'll see.
Big difference between 23-21 receiving serve and 24-20 serving for the set.
I personally think this is just a calculated timeout, using the challenge as a way to break the momentum, but we'll see.
And the challenge is lost.
And no, you saw when Dan Friend lost the challenge earlier in the match, he was vehement, and he went after the official, and he didn't even bother to look at what the call was. He already knew what the call was going to be there. That was totally a timeout, and let's see if it works for him. Serving's been great for the Dons tonight. This is an important one to keep in.
They're on a 5-0
has
run.
been good. And he does a nice job taking a little off and putting the pressure on.
Drolsom, Pulamats with the dig. Mercado at the 3-meter line. Touch once, touch twice. Haber, blocked! Lyons and Dietrich, 23-22. And now...
Oh, he had an extra timeout. I missed that.
Timeout. So now he uses the timeout. So he's out of timeouts in the set. He has only one challenge left between now and set 4. But he may not get to a set 4 the way that Purdue Fort Wayne has played the last 10, 12 minutes.
And I think they know they need a sweep to ensure at least the tie break, and then let fate decide it as it goes. And they're playing like it, that's for sure. Casey Lyons, by the way, is a top blocker in the conference, and boy, oh boy, is he coming up big for the Dons right now.
Sure is. By the way, Ball State, a straight set sweep tonight over Quincy. 25-23, 25-17, 25-15. Ohio State did win the third set, so they are getting ready to start set 4 over in Columbus. McKendree still leads that match 2-1. And we mentioned earlier, Lindenwood, a straight set win at Queens tonight. So we may try doing a couple of things here. Ball State with the win goes to 12-3.
Well, Paul Amont's back to serve again out of the timeout. He was so good out of that challenge. He hit it at about 75%. And he needs to do the same thing. They don't need an ace here. They just need to make Lewis find their way out of this. Good job.
Solid serve. Haber, ball in the air. Recovered by Dietrich. Defensive return. Free ball chance. Flyers on the run. Dons get a break. Dietrich over a triple block. Point Mastodons. We're tied at 23.
Holy cow. What a great rally that was. I mean, Lewis bringing the heat. I think Paul Amont's dug that with his shoulder. I think he turned away and took it on his shoulder. Went up into the rafters, took a friendly bounce.
Let's see what happens at 23 all. And off the touch, Lewis will pick up a point. But what a run for Purdue Fort Wayne. They were down 23-16 and scored 7 points in a row. Now they've got to win another point to extend this set.
And Paul Amontz has options here. Rotation 1, Dietrich hitting on the left. He's hit left most of the season. He's real comfortable on the left. Casey Lyons, who when they've fed him the ball, he has been automatic. And then Frazier over on the right. A good pass should hold the middle because Lyons has earned that respect. Paul Amontz is going to be able to kick it to either pin. Dietrich, red hot this past several weeks.
And how?
Would be prime suspect.
Service error. We're going to play overtime. As we're tied at 24 and you have to win the set by 2.
All right, Frazier back to serve. He's been hitting this jump float, trying to go down the line. Looks like they're going to try. He might try and apply pressure or Rocky. Lewis in there.
Key point here.
And still options for Paul Amontz out of this.
Tough service error that time, and let's see what Sean Beggs can do.
Dietrich's going to be a prime suspect here. Good pass again. Will hold the middle. The kick back to Dietrich should get the one-on-one.
Dietrich off the touch. You called it. And it's 25 all.
In a tight set like this, the advantage goes to the team that's been passing well and serving well, and that's the Dons. For the better part of the night, the Mastodon passing has been really very, very good. And Lewis's serving has had its moments, but hasn't challenged the Dons as much as the Dons have challenged Lewis.
Andrew Meyer off the bench to serve at 25 all. Solid serve. And off the touch, Lewis will once again serve for the set. And who's hurt? Someone's down.
I don't like the sign of this.
Is that John Dietrich?
He's just taking a moment maybe. He's getting pulled up by his team. He's walking on it. Maybe there was contact under the net. Maybe he landed on it weird. I did not see it. Some good sportsmanship on Lewis and Rocky's side, checking on Dietrich, asking, are you okay? Dietrich gives a thumbs up. I'd like to see that.
It would take an awful lot to get John off the floor right now.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe...
All right, well, he's got to spring to action. Walker is available. Good pass will give Walker an opportunity, and Dietrich on the ankle. Is he going to do it?
Dietrich, block, wide left. Tied at 26. And John Dietrich now will serve. And I can guarantee you one of the things he's happiest about, families here.
Yeah, I
saw
bet.
Richie earlier. I know mom and dad's they're not here tonight. They will be here Saturday. Solid serve. Right side. Tip shot.
Ooh. Smart play.
Rocky got.
Yeah, smart play by Rocky. Set was a little past him. He had to decelerate to hit it and did a nice job of cutting it inside, get the inside tool. Good rotation for Lewis to get out on one serve there with their lefty hitting on the left side. Tough spot, row one, when you have a lefty.
Tate's hand, Vig comes in. This is the 4th set point for Lewis in this set. Dietrich, block again, wide left. And we play on at 27 all.
And now Lewis rotating into that rotation with Rocky in the back row, Haber in the front row, and a tough spot now. Drolsom is front row. They've gone to him.
Mercado to serve. Right side, Drolsom, wide right. 28-27 Mastodons. Match point coming up.
1 point away from controlling their fate a little bit longer. And we're going to have a challenge. And I think the official held up his hand signaling net violation. Not in and out, but maybe a net violation on the block. Again, maybe just using this as a timeout.
Well, Ryan Perrott sending his captain, John Dietrich, over to talk to Rod Rodriguez, the official.
I think the Rock is questioning, does he have any more challenges left?
He's lost 2.
Yeah, this will be challenge number 3. I can't hear the conversation between Coach Perrott and the R2. But I saw several hands showing the number 3 by the Mastodon bench, saying he's already used 3 possibly, but from my count,
let's go back earlier
challenge.
in the set. We thought it was the second challenge
right.
used, which left Lewis with an available timeout,
Right.
which came right after a challenge.
Right.
And maybe that might be what Rock is thinking, that, wait a minute, but one of those was a timeout and not a challenge.
Well, nonetheless, I don't think that the call is going to get overturned. If in fact the challenge was net violation, I honestly didn't see it. But again, I don't have the best angle on it. And it very well could be just a last-ditch effort at a timeout at this point. What they really need to be doing right now is getting ready to side out here. I see a lot of talk between Dan Friend and his setter, Tyler Morgan, and I think it's going to go the Mastodon way.
And it does. So it is 28-27, Purdue Fort Wayne. They will serve for the match. And Dan Friend is out of challenges.
So this is a tough rotation, like I mentioned before. Haber, who's really not been very good tonight. Drolsom, who's been hot and cold. And they really haven't used their middle in this rotation. Choices.
Solid serve. Right side, Drolsom, off the touch. And Lewis dodges the bullet. And we're tied at 28.
There's a long way to go here, though. If Mastodon side out, Lewis will be in the rotation, still in a difficult rotation with Rocky in the back row. And the middle serving here for Lewis.
Vomicho with the serve. Right side, Dietrich. Oh, what a block! Sean Baggs with the block, and now Lewis will have set point number 5 coming up at 29-28.
Frazier on the left available. Walker, good pass. Walker's got the power to cut it past the block.
Oh, service error! And we're tied at 29.
Vimichel, middle hitter, got one in, enough to let them tie it up, or take the lead, I should say.
Bryce Walker to serve. He's got 2 aces so far tonight. Left side, oh, short set, big swing by Baggs.
Baggs bringing a lot of energy to the team. He has been from the start of this set. He's really been trying to drive his team with cheering and explosive movements.
Set point number 6. Drosom to serve. Frazier kept alive. Nice dig by Dietrich. Frazier again.
Gets the outside
off
hands.
the touch. And it's 30-30.
And there's another example of covering or playing good defense and recycling the points. There was an out-of-system swing, and Frazier goes outside hands. No fear, by the way, on that swing.
And you think of Dietrich, who has 18 kills, getting the key dig on the opposite side. Polomatz with the serve. Overpass. Frazier. But it's denied. Haber, touch shot. Hernandez keeps it going. Dietrich over a triple block. Dug out. Right side. Drosom off the touch. Point Lewis. Set point number 7.
Really, really big side out there for Lewis, besides obvious reasons of taking the lead. That's the rotation they allowed that 7, I think it was a 7-point run. With Polomatz serving through those timeouts and the challenges and all that. So they get out of it on one shot.
Haber serving for the set. Wide left, and Lewis is still playing. They win this third set 32-30. They're still trailing the match 2-1, but we're going to play at least a 4th set. Wow, what a set. Where again, Lewis, make sure my count is correct, 6, 7. They had 7 set points. And finally connected on lucky number 7. So it is now 2-1, Purdue Fort Wayne on top. And when we think about set 4, Steve, Dan Friend has no challenges in this 4th set.
That's right.
He's lost all 3 of his challenges. That may have a bearing in the set and how it's played. Thank you, sir. So the numbers after 3 sets right now, Purdue Fort Wayne leads in kills 44-40. They lead in assists 44-34. They lead in digs 30-26. Lewis leads in total blocks 8-7. Individually, John Dietrich with 18 kills, Mark Frazier 13, Carlos Mercado 7, Casey Lyons 4, 1 apiece for Andre Polomatz and Bryce Walker. For the Flyers, Max Rocky with 12 kills, Drosom with 11, Haber with 7, Baggs with 6, Vamucho with 3, and 1 for the setter, Tyler Morgan. Morgan has 32 assists. Andre Polomatz, 38 assists. Purdue Fort Wayne, 9 service aces, 2 apiece for Polomatz, John Dietrich, and Bryce Walker, 1 apiece for Lyons, Frazier, and Mercado, 15 service errors. Lewis with 2 service aces, 1 by Morgan, 1 by Baggs, 9 service errors. Wilmer Hernandez, the libero, leading the way for Purdue Fort Wayne in digs with 8. Polomatz with 7, Dietrich with 6, Mercado with 5, Frazier 3, and Lyons 1. And for the Flyers, Rocky with 7 digs, Drosom with 6, 3 apiece for Paula, Morgan, and Vamucho. 1 solo block for the Mastodons, that's credited to John Dietrich, 12 block assists. And for Lewis, no solo blocks and 16 block assists. 6 by Baggs, 4 by Haber, 4 by Morgan. We've had 23 ties and 8 lead changes in the first 3 sets combined thus far. So now that we've given you all kinds of numbers, let's try to put it into English. Lewis won the set they had to win, and they still have some momentum. Purdue Fort Wayne will serve first, going left to right in the 4th set. And you wonder what the setup might be and who's going to serve first.
Well, Lewis is going to start basically in the same rotation they started in set 3. They rolled back a half a rotation to start their setter in position 5. They started their setter in position 4 in the 3rd set. So they like the matchups they're getting better out of this.
Looks like John Dietrich will serve to start the 4th set.
This will get Rocky up to the front row a little faster.
And here we go, set number 4. Drosom, cut shot off the touch. 1-0 Lewis.
And Morgan set that ball just a little behind Drosom. He did a nice job of jumping backwards and snapping his wrist and cutting it inside the block.
Siva Drosom will now serve at 1-0. Walker, oh wow. Morgan keeps it alive. Dietrich over a double block, and that's dug out into the stands, and Walker in the right place at the right time to tie the set at 1 apiece.
That's going to go down as a kill, and that's going to get Walker going in the offensive category. He's only had 1 kill so far this match off of a set. So looking to, I like that they went to Walker right away off that first side out, trying to get him going. They need him to put some stats on the board.
Mercado with the serve. Haber off of Hernandez, 2-1 Lewis.
I like that swing by Haber there. Once he was getting blocked on, he was really trying to drive through the block. That one he swung a little higher and away and cut it inside the block. Got a really good snap on the ball, challenging the left back digger for the Dons.
Haber to serve right to left. Pulamat stays to the left. Frazier denied. Rocky dug out by Frazier. Dietrich over a triple block, yes!
Missed opportunity for Lewis. Had a good touch in system set, and I don't know if Rocky thought the set was going to be faster, but he was in real early, and that ball was too high for him. He had to stop, stay down, and standing down ball at just about.
Bryce Walker to serve. Pulamatz, Frazier denied in the backcourt. Rocky over a double block, cut shot off of Frazier. 3-2 Flyers.
Smart shot there by Rocky. Just cutting that ball inside. We call that 4-4. Inside the off blocker digger.
13 kills now for Rocky tonight. Baggs with the serve and the service error. There's now 10 service errors on Lewis tonight. Purdue Fort Wayne has committed 15.
Difference is Purdue Fort Wayne's got 9 aces out of those 15 errors.
That's true.
Only 2 aces from Lewis. They're just not challenging the Purdue Fort Wayne serve receive very much, and you're seeing it in a lot of quality, perfect passes.
Pulamatz with the serve. Rocky over a triple block off the touch. 4-3 Lewis. Tyler Morgan to serve for Lewis.
Touch was called. Dan Friend really jawing at the line judge for not calling. It was called by the down official. And I think Lewis needs to be careful with that. Like, the more they complained about calls, the more they got out of rhythm. And the more, that third set, they made some challenges, but they didn't hang on and on the calls, allowing their team to just flow a little bit more.
Morgan with the service ace, now trying for another. Didn't get it. Frazier off of Rocky, and it's 5-4. Flyer lead cut to 1. And Mark Frazier to serve. Frazier second on the team in kills, entering this match tonight, behind Dietrich. Rocky, wide left.
And now they want a touch. Again, I didn't see
He
the
has
touch,
no challenges.
and he has got no challenges.
He cannot
so
challenge.
He's at the mercy of the officials now. I didn't see it. I don't know if he's calling a touch on it, wanted to touch on the block or the digger, but
You can't do anything about it.
yep.
5-5. Frazier again to serve. Right side, Rocky. Oh, good hustle by Mercado to keep the play alive. Haber blocked. Confusion. Drossum Hernandez with the block. Right side, Mercado, triple block. And we got a whistle.
Net violation on the Lewis block. And again, the Dons flashing that defense, just giving themselves more and more opportunities to swing.
And it's 6-5, Purdue-Fort Wayne. How important is the fact that Lewis cannot challenge in this fourth set?
Well, I mean, I don't know that would have worked anyway on that one. I really didn't see a touch.
Drossum rejected by Casey Lyons. 7-5, Purdue-Fort Wayne.
And really, this is like 3 or 4 calls now that Lewis is just going on and on to the officials, and we saw the way that worked for him in the first set. And I think they really need to put their focus into coaching their team and get on the next play. They're focused in the wrong place right now.
Drossum, Polomats, Hernandez combined for the dig. Hernandez with a dig on the left side. Here comes Dietrich. Morgan kept alive. Tip shot, Lewis with the point. Seven to 6, the Purdue-Fort Wayne lead cut to 1. Rocky to serve. Lions. Rocky with a dig in the backcourt.
And that's something Lewis needs to do more of.
Yeah,
convert digs. 2 things there. Find their middles a little more to open up Rocky and Haber, and then convert digs. I like that choice in transition. Good job by Vimichil by being up. Good dig there in the back row by Rocky.
Right side, Dietrich rejected. Vimichil. And Lewis takes an 8-7 lead.
Momentum starting to go the black and red way here. One more point, and they can really start to celebrate and push.
Coming from Chicago. Mercado denied. Oh, change of pace by Drossum. 9-7 Lewis.
Another dig converted. Lewis is starting to get in a groove here. And scoring points with Rocky in the back row is key for Lewis. They really struggled without him in the front row in that third set, in particular in that 7-point run that the Mastodons had. So to be scoring points off of digs, to be scoring in transition, and especially scoring while Rocky's in the back row, that's a good sign for Lewis.
Right side for Dietrich, yes. Off not what, but 2 flyers. And it's 9-8. Purdue Fort Wayne not only gets the point, they get the serve back in the person of Casey Lyons. Lyons has 1 ace so far tonight. A little movement on it. Habert down the line.
This is a nice swing by Haber right there. Facing cross court, turning at the last second, taking it down the line. Block was totally lined up on him cross. Good vision. Very nice swing.
10-8, the lead is 2. Ramachil with the serve from the left corner. Frazier off 2 touches. Picks up his 15th kill of the night.
Mastodon passing, allowing Polomatz to work from target most of this match. A lot at the end of set 3. Part of the reason they had that run, and a lot in this set.
Dietrich with the serve. And off the touch. Sean Baggs with the kill.
Baggs getting a kill here. Vimichel had a kill. So some middle hitter kills from people other than last name Rocky is really important for Lewis as they go forward and try to make this comeback.
Throws him to serve at 11-9. Dietrich just flips it over. Throws him with the dig. Huber off the touch.
Yeah.
12-9 Flyers.
Flyers, their conversion rate on digs, on second opportunities, really, really good right now.
3-point Lewis lead here in the 4th set. Perspiration being mopped up on the Purdue Fort Wayne side of the court.
They've got real good energy right now. They're playing clean volleyball, making a lot of defensive conversions. They've got the momentum at the moment. Lewis does.
Mercado. And that'll be 4 hits, and that'll be a Purdue Fort Wayne point. And again, Dan Friend complaining.
Again, Dan Friend's been coaching this gym for a long time. Everybody knows that overhang is out of bounds. It counts as a back wall, just as if the ball would hit the back wall on the other side. This is something they've explained to the captains, or should have at the start of the match. That rule has been played here. I've been coaching here 21 years, and that has been out of bounds for 21 years that I've been here.
Dan Friend has been with Lewis for 20 years. He's been in this court 20 times. He knows the lay of the land.
So again, at the beginning of the match, they get the captains in there, and they tell the captains, they talk about the facility, because every facility is a little different. And they tell every part of the gym, this is in play, this is out of play, that wall is out, that wall is out. And so that's something they should have done at the start of the match.
Let's take this one.
Be a question here.
Let's take one step further. Our officials tonight, Rod Rodriguez and Luis Ventura, they've been here many times. They know the layout of the land.
Yeah.
And they have not just officiated here in Fort Wayne. They've been in Romeoville, and they've been in other courts in the MIVA.
This is a straightforward call. That overhang counts as the back wall. If they're going to call it differently, is up to the officials. But from my knowledge of this facility, and I have good knowledge of it, that's going to get called. Ooh.
It's like they changed the call.
Yeah, and that's a real big surprise. Rock has a right to be upset right here, right now. That is out of bounds. This is incorrect. If they overturn it, it's incorrect.
This is close to getting down and dirty. And you can see the conversation continuing.
Well, perhaps at the beginning of the match that wasn't discussed because it really shouldn't be a question. It should be clear what's in and what's out.
I did not hear what Luis Ventura told.
Well, now Rock is
at the
challenging, and I don't know what Rock is challenging. And there will be no point awarded because it's going to be a replay.
And it'll stay at 12-9.
Right. So Rock is, Coach Pratt has made a challenge. Looks like I saw the signal to be a touch call, but I don't know what that touch call could be. At best, this is going to be a replay, or at worst, I should say, if you're a Mastodons fan, it'll be a replay. At best, maybe it's just to buy Captain John Dietrich some time to talk to the up official because that's what he's been doing for the last minute or so. And
John is not a happy camper right now. So he heads back to talk to Ryan Perrott.
Yeah. Again, all I can do is speak to the 21 years I've coached here. And that overhang is always called out. Clearly, the officials did not discuss the facility with the captains or even with themselves because this should not be a question. The ground rules should be put in place right at the start of the match.
Now they're going to replay it.
Yeah, they're going to replay it. Well, I guess Coach Dan Friend complained enough at all the other calls is going to get a mercy one.
Well, let's see how this changes things.
Yeah, long break.
I think I just may have
poked a bear here, you know.
You may have just lit a fuse on the on the side to our left right now. So we replay the point. It's 12-9. Siva Drosom serving for Lewis. Oh, what a nice dig there. Wide left. The block attempt by Haber. And now it's 12-10. And Carlos Mercado to serve for Purdue Fort Wayne.
Lewis rolling into it now in their side-out rotations that they've struggled in the rest of this match. Mercado's been solid from the service line.
Rocky
out of the back row, and that's going to be
four hits.
And Paul Amatz knows it's going to be a fourth touch, so he heads it over the net.
13-10. Haber to serve for Lewis. Trying to square this match at 2 sets apiece.
We really haven't seen Rocky out of the back row very much. That's, I think, about the third one we've seen.
Oh, he does have 16 kills tonight. Right side for Dietrich. Blocked. Frazier blocked. And it's 14-10. Lewis with smiles on their faces.
And at this point, Mastodons just need to collect themselves. And they need to remember they were down a lot more than this a lot later in set 3, and they did it. So stay calm, stay cool, don't force the issue. Play the game you've been playing all night. Defense, converting digs, passing well, serving well.
Pulamats will go to the left. Frazier off the touch makes it 14-11. Mark Frazier with 16 kills tonight. And Walker to serve. Rocky. Dietrich with the dig. Left side, Frazier, yes! Frazier with 2 kills in a row, and it's 14-12.
Rocky handled that serve really, really well. Set wasn't a set that he could unload on, though. And that was a set Frazier could unload on. There's a dig conversion for the Dons.
Wide right, service error. And that brings us to immediate timeout. So we have a break in the action here in set number 4. Lewis leads set 4, 15-12. Purdue Fort Wayne leads the match 2-1. We'll take a break. Back in 60 seconds as you're watching MIVA Men's Volleyball on YouTube. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Arnie Ball Court. We are in set 4 of our best-of-5 match, featuring 14th-ranked Lewis and 20th-ranked Purdue Fort Wayne. Mastodons won the first 2 sets, but Lewis won the 3rd set 32-30. They lead the 4th set 15-12. Flyers going from right to left here in set number 4. Sean Baggs serving at 15-12 as play resumes. Frazier with a windmill swing off the touch picks up the kill.
Lewis hitting 409 up to this point in set 4. Mastodons hitting 318. Actually, that'll go up a little bit with that kill. And 10 digs, though, for Lewis, which is the tell of the tape a little bit here. When you look at a 2-point set, 10 digs to 7 digs.
Polomat's a service error, and that's 2 service errors in a row for Purdue Fort Wayne. Now trailing to set 16-13. Tyler Morgan, there's Lewis setter to serve. Casey Lyons with a quick swing. And the kill.
Lyons has been automatic when they've got him the ball. He's really developed into a nice middle in quick in quick fashion, too. Again, seeing his first action in the Hawaii matches.
Yeah.
And really taking off from there.
He also has 5 kills tonight. No attack errors. Float served by Frazier, floats wide left.
He's kind of got to find his stride with the serving. He's missed some serves, last few serves. 2 at the end of the third set. He'll get it back. He's playing real good offensively. He needs to keep chipping in there, and he's been playing pretty good defense, too.
Rocky with the serve. Dietrich, dug out by Rocky. Aber, blocked by Dietrich.
Yeah, and that was trouble right from the start of that set, running him into the block. He needs to make a better choice there, though. He's taking that ball that's already going towards the block and then banging it right into the block. At that point, do something like Carlos Mercado, swing for high hands, intend for the ball to go off the hands and out of bounds instead of trying to intend the ball go through the block and into the court.
By the way, my apologies. I do have some hearing aids for you after that last call. Left side, Mercado over a triple block, and it's rejected. 18-15. Lewis on top. Here in the 4th set.
A big kill here from the Dons will be the first shot. I always think 3 plays in a row can get some momentum going. We'll also tie this up, but there needs to be a little more energy. The Dons look like they're running out of steam a little bit.
Vamacho with the serve for Lewis. Mercado off the touch. That's 9 kills for Carlos Mercado tonight, and Purdue Fort Wayne posed to within 2, trailing this set 18-16. Dietrich to serve.
Very steady. Even when it's not a kill, it's usually in play. He got blocked on that last one, but that one probably should have been covered. Just playing a nice, steady L2 position.
John's had trouble lately serving.
Yeah, really, the Dons have it. They start out red hot with their serving, and they've missed several serves in a row here.
It's now 5 service errors on Dietrich alone tonight.
They're not serving aggressively the way they were either, so they're missing serves in a way. In some ways, they're trying not to miss, and they're missing.
Drossum with the serve for Lewis. Dietrich rejected.
Bags says, I have to say, in this set and in the third set, he's come up with some really big blocks, and he celebrates too.
Oh,
and,
yes, he does.
I think that really fires his team up.
Timeout, Purdue Fort Wayne. They trail this 4th set 20-16.
Bags is a freshman. He plays with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Well, some decisions being made in the Mastodon timeout right now. First and foremost, what do we do to get this ball back? Who are we going to set? And then what is our offensive philosophy want to be going forward?
Wow.
Maybe some defensive adjustments potentially. What do you see there, Mike? I see you checking out the Ohio State score.
Ohio State on the verge of a comeback, one that they had early in the year against defending national champion UCLA, where they were down 2-0 and won the next 3 sets. Tonight they were
14-11, huh?
They were down 2-0 to McHenry, won the 3rd set 28-26, the 4th set 25-18, and they lead the 5th and final set 14-11. So they're a point away from their second that I know of comeback down 2-0 this year. We'll check on that in just a bit. Back to the action here where it's 20-16 Lewis in the 4th. Steven Drossum to continue to serve for the Lewis Flyers.
Good serve.
Yep. Hernandez will set up Mercado, triple block, yes!
He's a human buzzsaw tonight.
Yes, he is.
Continuing to just tool the block over and over and over again. Steady and cool, calm, and collected.
And now he serves at 17-20. Long run for Morgan is returned. Frazier off the arm of Drossum, and somehow Lewis comes up with the point.
You know, if you're a volleyball fan, you gotta like that exchange right there. What a swing down the line by Frazier. Drossum just, maybe, I couldn't see, I was blocked a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe chicken wings it a little bit, and then transitions to the kill. Again, theme of set 4 for Lewis is transitioning their digs into kills.
Daniel Haber to serve at 21-17. Josso at the net, and off the touch. It looked like Purdue Fort Wayne was going to win the point, and they end up not winning the point. And it's 22-17. Flyers 3 points away from taking this to a decisive 5th set. Walker denied. Rocky wide. Oh, it's touched.
And Coach Pratt taking a timeout. I think that's the right call. It looked like it to me. And that was the intention of the swing, by the way.
So it's 23-17. I was blocked on that particular play.
Well, Coach Pratt has challenges, and he's not using it, which means his player told him, I touched it.
Well, we now can confirm Ohio State wins the 5th set over McKendree 15-11, thus winning the match 3 sets to 2.
Well,
so they finished conference play at 11-5. McKendree falls to 8-7.
Yep.
And
so
how important is what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
Because if Purdue-Fort Wayne can win this match, they would go to 7-8. Lewis would fall to 8-7. So you'd have 3 teams tied at 8-7 with 1 match to go.
Yeah, they basically fourth through, I think 8th is totally up for grabs. 8th, 9th maybe.
Well, yeah, Saturday you got Lindenwood again playing at Queens. You've got McKendree going to Muncie to play Ball State, and Lewis will be across town off Lake Michigan to play Loyola Chicago. Timeout concluded. Dietrich, yes. And it's 23-18. Dietrich now with 21 kills.
Dons were here before.
Yep.
They've got the right server back there, although Walker just hasn't been himself tonight with that arm. He's not been hitting with the same force he usually does. And after that first set service run, we really haven't seen a run out of him. This could be the moment.
And then again, it could be a service error. And now Lewis really in the driver's seat, serving for the 4th set, and they have 6 set points to work with. Sean Baggs to serve for the 4th set. Dietrich, denied. Rocky over a triple block, miss hits it. 1 set point averted. It's 24-19.
Well, Paul Amatz was the server in that 7-point run in set 3. So the right guy's back there.
Yep.
It's hard to rattle his cage. He's pretty chill overall. You don't see him over celebrate anything, and doesn't seem to get angry or upset about anything. Got a real even keel demeanor. Looking back there, he's serving. He seems real relaxed. And so that's the type of person that can make a run, that doesn't get too high or too low, and stay steady.
Let's see what happens. And he goes long, and we're going to go 5.
I think I'm jinxing these servers here, Mike.
Lewis wins the 4th set, 25-19. So we will play 1 set to 15, win by 2 to decide it. Well, Dietrich and Morgan with smiles as they meet with Luis Ventura for the coin flip to see who's going to serve first and what side they're going to serve on.
Tell you one thing I've liked out of watching Lewis is they've been like laughing off points. They've not been taking things all that seriously. I'm talking about the players.
Yeah.
And they've maintained this like kind of ease about them where they're not getting to the point of desperation at any moment, and they're playing hard, but they're supportive of one another. They're enjoying when they score points. They're not hanging on to mistakes too long. And that could be one of the reasons for this comeback that they've had right now, to bring it to two sets apiece. Yeah,
they led almost the entire 4th set, and I kicked myself because I did not circle the point where they had that switch. I want to say, was it 12? 10?
It would have been 10-12 if they didn't overrule it.
That's right.
It was 9-12 with the replay.
Yeah. And yet the next point did go to the Purdue-Fort Wayne to make it 12-10. But
so not a drastic difference
Yeah.
there. It didn't, in my opinion, that didn't have an effect on the outcome of the set.
Well,
especially because the Mastodons won the ensuing point.
Well, so now we got one set to 15. The points are going to be even more at a premium. And one wonders what the, I didn't catch who won the toss. But it looks like Lewis is going to stay on this side of the floor, which would be the east side of the floor. East, am I correct, or north? To our right. Going right to left to start the set. Once the first team scores 8 points in this fifth set. The teams will switch ends for the remainder of the match. And let's see. Of course, Lewis has won the last 3 matches in this series. They lead the all-time series 45 wins to 26. And they won both matches last year. And they won the first match this year. And here in Fort Wayne, they are 16-16, both teams against each other on this floor. They've been dominant at Neil Carey Court in Romeoville, they being Lewis, leading 27-9 there. And one wonders, Steve, the way that Purdue Fort Wayne played in sets 1 and 2, can they get the magic back in set 5?
Yeah, I mean, they're the home team. The crowd is behind them. It's a 0-0 score. That's one of the things we talk about. Like, I know they just lost by, what was that, 7 or 8 points?
Yeah, 25-19.
Yeah, 6 points. They're not at a deficit anymore. It's like a renewal, if you will. You know, 0-0. And
it looks like Purdue Fort Wayne is going to serve first. Carlos Mercado back.
They're starting. They've rolled their rotation. They're starting with Paul Motz in the front middle. So he's. This is going to get Dietrich around to the front row a little sooner. It's very similar to what Lewis has done to get Rocky in the front row a little more quickly. Both teams' best hitters.
Oh, John Dietrich, 21 kills. Mark Frazier, 18. Carlos Mercado, 10, leading the way for Purdue Fort Wayne. 17 kills for Rocky, 14 for Drossum, and 10 for Haber, leading the way for Lewis. Drossum wins the first point of set number 5.
Drossum's last few swings have really been crisp, and it's some of the best offense we've seen him out of all night, and he's really settled in. He had some big kills early in the match, but also had some suspect errors, and he's really kind of settled in, including his serve. His serve has been very, very strong in these last few attempts.
And he's serving now at 1-0. Frazier with the kill.
Well, good start to the set for both teams. Both teams executing first ball side outs with
Walker
authority.
To serve for Purdue Fort Wayne.
There we go.
Solid serve. Haber off the touch. 2-1 Flyers.
And that's the rotation Lewis got stuck in at the end of set 3. And they got through it on one swing.
And Haber will serve now for Lewis.
And now Rocky rotates front row for Lewis, along with Baggs, who's come alive for Lewis and been part of the energy for them. Lyons available. Frazier.
Service error number 11 for Lewis. Allows Purdue Fort Wayne to tie the 5th set at 2 apiece. Andre Polomats to serve. Two here in the 5th. Overpass, and Frazier puts it away. 3-2 Mastodons.
Paul Amatz has been one of the strongest servers, if not the strongest server for the Dons tonight. That won't go down as an ace. That certainly was a serve that helps.
That's an ace
That
right
will.
there.
That will.
As it's 4-2 for Polomatz. That's his third ace of the night. It's the 10th ace for Purdue Fort Wayne as a team. The first ace they've had in a long time. Rocky, Frazier, Dietrich, they get it across, free ball chance, Flyers, blocked by Mark Frazier, 5-2 Purdue Fort Wayne.
Wow, fantastic awareness by Frazier. That's really the first center attack we've seen out of Morgan. And what a time for Frazier to be ready for that. Good eye work.
Frazier now with 20 kills tonight. Polomatz again with the serve, and he's been, that goes just wide left.
Good effort by Paul Amatz to get his team some separation. Great serving.
2-point lead for Purdue Fort Wayne, 5-3. Sean Baggs to serve for Lewis. Again, we only played this set to 15, win by 2. Dietrich with kill number 22, 6-3.
Dietrich doing what he does best, swinging on the ball, putting the ball away straight to the ground. 22 kills for Dietrich tonight. Frazier's got 20, so getting a lot out of their two big guns.
Frazier to serve. Throw some off the arm of Mercado, and it's 6-4.
Drolsome, a huge bright spot for Lewis in these last few sets. And now he's front row.
He's got 16 kills tonight.
Yep. He's really settled in.
Tyler Morgan, the setter, to serve. Uh-oh. We got a violation. Over the net violation.
So here's the deal. If that ball is in the plane, it's fair game for the block. And Paul Amatz, if he reaches to bring that ball back from being in the plane, that is an illegal play by the back row setter. So Lewis does have
one challenge.
No, well, this you can't challenge, but they do have a right to be complaining. Now, I saw the up official motion the hand signal saying ball was not in the plane, it was on the PFW side. So if it's on the PFW side, then the call is right. So that's what the up official is saying. It was not in the plane, it was on their side.
So it's 7-4. Rocky a tough shot, Dietrich with the dig. Frazier.
What a heck of a play.
Nico Paula, and it's 8-4, and now we switch ends. Purdue Fort Wayne with the lead halfway through this fifth and deciding set. But I don't remember. I think it's a timeout, but I'm not 100% sure now.
No, this is not a timeout. You go right over and you get on the court.
We've gone both ways this year. This is what's frustrating.
But
I think we should just play on.
The officials motioning to the court. And I'm not sure what's happening right now. The Mastodons are over like it's timeout, and Lewis is on the court.
It's been weird, Steve, because
Dan Friend is arguing with the down official. It's kind of chaos right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good word for it. Chaos, chaotic, take your pick. But
hey, that's a great play by Frazier, by the way.
First of all, really played well in this fifth set.
Don's doing what they've been doing all night, which is hustling their butts off on defense. Dietrich runs that ball down, brings it up, and Frazier just unloads on it. And that's that out-of-system play that's been, for the most part, very good for the Dons tonight. And that swing right there had a lot of conviction behind it. It was a we're winning this match swing from an out-of-system rundown.
Let's see.
Lewis is flustered. The coach is all his attention's on the officials now.
KC Lions will serve. 8-4, Purdue Fort Wayne here in the 5th and final set. Mastodons going from right to left the rest of the way. Morgan goes left for Drossum. Wide right, and it's 9-4.
And that's a tough swing for a lefty, being stacked on the left side of the court. That's where being in row 1 is difficult if you have a lefty trying to hit from the left side of the court. We kind of noticed that last week when Mastodons were playing Ball State, and they had Dyer Ball, who's a lefty, stacked over to left. They were running him around to get onto the right side of the court rather than using him as a left side option.
Timeout called by Lewis. And they've got one timeout left. They have one challenge left. Purdue Fort Wayne has 2 timeouts at their disposal, and I think they've got 2 challenges. One that was given to them for the 5th set. And I think they might have one other one. But now the question is, momentum riding with Purdue Fort Wayne, can they take it to the house?
Yeah, all the pressure on Lewis at the moment. Everything so far in the MIVA world breaking the right way.
Yeah, so far so good.
As far as a team looking to move up the standings, everything happening in front of you that needs to happen. Momentum on your side. Dons are confident. They're chomping at the bit. They're on the court. You could see the way they're talking to one another. They're focused.
Lions with the serve. Morgan to the right. Rocky cut shot left.
2-2 kill there.
And it's 9-5.
Super sharp angle.
And it's 9-5, and Rocky will serve. Max has 17 kills tonight to lead the Lewis attack.
Lewis has been applying a lot of pressure on Frazier. He's been handling serve well.
And they're going at him again. And Frazier responds!
Yeah.
Off of Rocky.
He's feeling it right now. I mean, he called off, I think Polomats, who was running it down, called him off or called somebody off.
Said, I got it.
He said, I am swinging. This ball is either going to be a home run or a strikeout.
Dietrich to serve. Left side, Haber. And that'll be a point for Lewis. And it's 10-6.
But you like to see that effort. The defensive effort from the Mastodons has been excellent tonight. And they've been scoring on a lot of their digs, as you saw Frazier swinging off that one there, or swinging on the ball to get the 8 points. Frazier is feeling it, by the way.
Vamacha with the serve. Mercado, did he get the touch? Yes, he did.
Of course he did. Of course he did, Mike. That's his signature shot.
Yeah, it is. 11-6.
Again, that's exactly what he meant to do. There was no intention, again, of that ball to go inbounds.
And the graduate student will serve. Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. And unfortunately, he serves it into the net for a service error. Carlos is a marketing major. And the reason he came to Purdue Fort Wayne, you'll love this, Steve, because of the people in the city.
Yeah. We have good people.
Yes, we do. Drossum to serve for Lewis, down by 4. Frazier denied. Walker denied. Third chance denied. Back to Frazier.
Oh, my God.
Denied by Rocky. Left side, Haber. Denied by Dietrich. Frazier over a triple team. Denied. What a rally, Haber. Hernandez with the dig. Frazier again, dug out, and it'll be a Lewis point. Wow.
Well, I'm going to put that as the rally of the night right there.
Woo!
Throw in the fact that Frazier was all the way off the court, and Paul Lamont set him, and he had to come running in from out of bounds to hit the ball.
Well, he's favoring his right shoulder. It's Mark Frazier. Timeout called by Purdue Fort Wayne.
I like this timeout a lot. After a long rally like that,
yeah,
you know, when you win a rally like that, you're up, right? Take that time out and kind of neutralize that energy. Give your guys a chance to catch your breath. Pressure is still on Lewis. Collect yourselves. Think about what you're going to do to side out on this ball and go back to work. Perfect timeout, in my opinion. And Lewis has struggled with serves after timeouts, too.
And I do believe, I'll take that back. I know the first two times that Lewis called a timeout tonight, they lost the next point on a service error. Or I should say, first two times Rock called a timeout, Lewis committed the service error. Let me get that corrected. Let's see what happens now. Again, it'll be Siva Drossum, the left-hander, serving for Lewis. 11-8. Purdue Fort Wayne here in the fifth and final set. In a match that has taken over 2 hours and 40 minutes. This is reminiscent of the old days.
I think about 30 of those minutes have been challenges and arguing with officials.
Yeah. Timeout completed.
Drossum has had a good serve these last few sets.
Good serve there as well.
Handled easily.
Dietrich, long. Oh, he was set up. And it's 11-9. Flyers are won 3 points in a row. It was 11-6.
I like that choice. He had the seam, just missed it. Had to travel a little bit far for it. Maybe he was led him a little too much, but yeah. I think Frazier is feeling it right now. He is in the zone. I'd feed him if I could.
Long, not by much. And I think it's going to be a challenge. Dan Friend's got the green card.
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, use it, right? I suppose, but from where I'm sitting, that ball was out.
Well, that's the one challenge he had left.
Now, this shouldn't be that long of a challenge. The cameras in this gym are set up very well. There's a camera on every line, basically, way up overhead. The view, you can zoom on them. The officials use basically like an iPad, and they can pinch, zoom. And as suspected, quick challenge, and it's going to go.
And that challenge is lost.
It's going to go the Mastodon way.
So it is 12-9. Purdue Fort Wayne with the lead and the serve.
I suppose you can't take them with you, so you might as well use it. But I don't know. If it becomes a tight match, he's going to regret that one.
Walker to serve. Took something off. Morgan setting up Bags for the kill on a quick hitter. And it's 12-10. Daniel Haber to serve.
And at the right time, the best hitter for Lewis coming to the front row, Rocky. Bags, who's been playing very, very well, still up there. Haber back to serve.
Frazier denied on a touch. Tip shot kept alive by Frazier. Gets it back. Double team. Block again. Wide left. Point Purdue Fort Wayne. 13-10. Mastodons 2 points away from the match. Flyers 5. Andre Polomats to serve.
All right, Dietrich front row, Frazier front row, Lyons front row. Best front row for the Dons.
Tip shot. Kept alive by Polomats. Defensive return. Bats. off of Mercado, and it's 13-11. Key point right now. Bats to serve. Flyers down by 2. Perspiration being mopped up on the Mastodon side of the court.
No question. These guys playing as hard as they can on both sides of the net. Those jerseys are wet, for sure.
Yep. Washing machine will get a good workout. Both teams tonight. Dietrich denied. Left side. Olomouc keeps it alive. Joshua at the net. Lyons gets it over. Play continues. Left side. Off Mercado. Rocky with the kill, and it's 13-12.
But again, if you're Lewis, you're like, geez, what do we got to do to score a point here, you know? That sends a message. They still got work to do. Don's still in control. Dietrich left, Frazier right. Olomouc can go either way with the ball.
Frazier down the line, and it is wide. We're tied at 13. Timeout, Purdue Fort Wayne. Second and final allotted timeout of this final set. Mastodon seemingly had control. Went up 3-2, extended it to 6-3, extended it more to 10-5. They were up 13-10.
Well, Dietrich's got 22 kills on the night.
Yep, Frazier's got 23. Mercado's got 11.
Frazier's hitting 340. And he just missed that swing. There wasn't anything wrong there, just missed it. They're in good shape. They've got their 2 best hitters in the front row. They've got a combined 45 kills in the front row right now. And then throw Casey Lyons in there with 5 of his own. By the way, hitting perfect, no errors, 500. So Olomouc has lots of options. He's got 50 kills in the front row out of the 66 the Dons have. 50 of them are sitting in the front row right now. He can go anywhere, and there's a high probability they're going to get that point.
Conversely, where does Bat serve?
Well, they've been serving Frazier for most of the night, but most importantly, in. If I'm the Flyers and I have a serving sub, and a defensive player, I would maybe want to have that person with the ball right now.
Most important point of the match coming up right now. Set up for Dietrich. No. Yeah, wow, Frazier with the arm, the overextend on the arm. And it's Purdue Fort Wayne serving for the match. Dan Friend again talking.
Yeah, they don't like that he reached behind his head and pulled it forward, but that call's not happening in a 5th set. He wants a lift call or a carry, and I'm telling you that's just not going to happen. It's just like any other sporting event in a clutch moment. And he's got to let go of this now because that call is not getting reversed. He's got his team waiting for him.
Yep.
They've got to decide what they're going to do to side out. The call is the call. You can't challenge it. You can't change it. It's done.
No, I shouldn't say got away with it, but he did get influenced to have one call changed earlier in the match.
Yeah. Well, at 14-13, the most important thing right now is siding out to tie it. And I believe Rocky's still in the front row. If I am the Mastodons, I am favoring him and favoring Rocky. And force him to set somebody else. You do have Drolsom out of the back row, I believe.
Let's see who's going to serve.
Yeah, I think
that's what I want to see.
Well, it's going to be Dietrich, I believe, because they were in rotation 1. Oh, sorry, no, it'll be Frazier. Excuse me. It'll be Frazier on the serve. All right.
Mark's had a service ace tonight, 24 kills, 4 assists, 9 digs, and a block assist.
So they've got Vimichil, who they haven't set very much at all tonight. And they've got Rocky, who leads the team in kills, and then Drolsom out of the back row.
Here we go. Rocky off the arm of Frazier. Now it's overtime. 14 all. Have to win by 2. Tyler Morgan to serve for Lewis.
Now one of the stronger front rows for Lewis rotating up. Rocky in the front right. He'll shift over to the left side, and Drolsom again, who's come alive in his last few sets, on the right. And Vimichil, who they haven't set very much, blocking out of the middle. Baggs has been the stronger blocker.
Dietrich, dug out. Rocky tries to go deep. Hernandez with the dig. Dietrich again, kept alive.
Go back.
Third time, yes! Match point 2 coming up for Purdue Fort Wayne.
Good defensive effort by Lewis. They could not get in a position to take a swing on the ball, though, allowing 3 swing attempts or 2 free ball attempts for the Dons.
Andrew Meyer off the bench to serve for the match. Right side, wide left, and this match is over. Lewis cannot challenge.
Well, Lewis thinks there was a touch, but they don't have any challenges left, so.
There's no challenges.
He burnt his challenge on that serving error. Came back to haunt him.
And Purdue, yes it did. And Purdue Fort Wayne wins the 5th and deciding set 16-14. Thus they win the match. 25-19, 25-21, 30-32, 19-25, and 16-14. They keep their hopes alive for a 4 seed. They improved to 7-8 in conference play. 13-11 overall. Lewis falls to 8-7 in the MIVA, and 15-13 overall. And one quick final look, Steve. Mark Frazier tonight, 24 kills, he hit .354, had 4 assists, 1 service ace, 9 digs, and a block assist. John Dietrich had 23 kills, 2 assists, 2 aces, 9 digs, a solo block, and 5 block assists. Carlos Mercado with 11 kills, hit .364. Bryce Walker only had 3 kills, but he also had an assist, a couple of service aces, and 3 block assists. And for Lewis, Max Rocky with 20 kills tonight, Drolsom with 16, Haber with 12, Baggs with 10, and their setter Morgan had 53 assists. And for Purdue Fort Wayne, Andre Polomatz had 56 assists, along with 2 kills, 3 aces, and 9 digs and 2 block assists. A lot of people helped in this win for Purdue Fort Wayne tonight, and it was a heck of a match.
Yeah, awesome team effort. Really big match tonight by Mark Frazier. Came up really big with a lot of clutch kills, especially in that last set, and really handled the bulk of the passes tonight. He was a serving target, and he managed it quite well. But overall, fantastic team effort. Defense was the name of the game for the Dons tonight, along with some really good serving.
And real quickly, let's give you the other 3 finals in the MIVA tonight. Again, Lindenwood beat Queens in straight sets, 25-13, 25-21, 25-22. Ohio State, after losing sets 1 and 2 to McKendree, 25-18, 25-20, won the third set 28-26, the fourth set 25-18, and the fifth set 15-11. And Ball State had no trouble with Quincy tonight, winning by set scores of 25-23, 25-17, and 25-15. So with one match left, Ball State has a one-game lead over Loyola. Ohio State will finish third no matter what. They're done at 11-5. But you got McKendree, Lewis, and Lindenwood all at 8-7. Purdue Fort Wayne at 7-8. Queens at 2-13. Quincy at 1-14. And again, on Saturday, Lindenwood will be at Queens. Quincy will be here to take on Purdue Fort Wayne. McKendree will be at Ball State, and Lewis will be at Loyola. Anything can happen on Saturday, and we'll have to wait probably until all these matches are finished before we know who is going to finish where and who's going to play where when the postseason tournament starts 2 weeks from Saturday.
Yeah,
or a week from Saturday.
Very crazy finish to the season right now.
Yeah.
And for the MIVA, and really, like you said, it's still to be determined.
Yeah.
No bracket can be made right now.
No, not at all. Well, that'll do it. We sure hope you've enjoyed this match tonight here at Arnie Ball Court between 14th ranked Lewis and 20th ranked Purdue Fort Wayne. A match that went the distance, won in the fifth and final set by Purdue Fort Wayne 16-14. Thanks to our somewhat skeleton crew tonight, Jake Thomas in the control room, and Kevin Ambrose working the cameras. Steve, final thought, and we're going to say goodbye.
Great volleyball match.
That's nice, short, and to the point. For Steve Florio, I'm Mike Maas. Again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Join us again on Saturday at 5 o'clock. Senior night, regular season finale, Mastodons and the Quincy Hawks, and we hope you'll join us then. But time now to say goodnight from Arnie Ball Court here on the campus of Purdue University Fort Wayne. You have been watching Purdue Fort Wayne men's volleyball on YouTube. Good night from Fort Wayne.